It is 6:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. Thursday night football. Bengals defeated the Dolphins 27-15. The biggest story from the game was the injury suffered by Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who was stretchered off the field and taken to a nearby hospital.
He's going to be sacked back in his own territory at the 47-yard line. Tua's down.
He got body slammed. He got thrown down, and they're coming out right now. Jimmy had time to get rid of it. Instead, he gets thrown down hard, and he's not getting up. Oh, boy.
Coach Mike McDaniel said the quarterback sustained a concussion. Coming up Sunday, Titans at Colts, noon kickoff. Mike Keith and Coach Dave McGinnis with the call, courtesy of Titans Radio. And tonight, Mets at the Braves, 6:20 first pitch, first game of a three-game set that could essentially decide the NL East title. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Kicking off a rivalry weekend for the Tennessee Titans, a huge weekend in the world of college football. We've decided it's Friday, and we're going to act like it on 104.5 The Zone. It's Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Jonathan Schaefer, the best producer in the world, makes the show happen. 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster. Yeah. My name is Will Bowling.
Yes, you are.
High energy for 4 hours this morning, and that is all that we can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's going to happen until 10 a.m. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. At least a Saturday night, Will. You know what? Most fans in this state, they can be stress-free. Don't have to worry about the Vols playing.
Sure can.
You know what? And other than Irsay tweeting out, fill up, what is it? What's the name of their stadium again?
Lucas Oil Stadium.
Lucas Oil Stadium.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Other than that, we're good. So it's Friday, Will, and we going to act like it, man.
So who is more focused on filling a stadium this weekend? Jim Irsay trying to fill Lucas Oil Stadium or Tennessee fans trying to checker Vanderbilt on Thanksgiving weekend?
I think it's the latter. I'm going with the latter.
And if
That's so bad.
And if that is any indication of the way this show is going to go, it's 6:04 a.m. And yes, we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Yes, we are. We're going into this one.
Oh, absolutely we are.
This is a fans approved like Vanderbilt Stadium striping, huh?
I mean,
this came from the fans, right? From Twitter,
from Tennessee,
social
Not
media.
from Vandy fans.
I was going to say, it's not fan approved, and for some in this city,
So
it is for most, but not for some.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, wow, we really gonna do this?
I wasn't going to give this oxygen, and then I went and looked at the website.
Yeah.
And it's as legit as Checker Neyland is. It has the exact section breakdown and the rows and the seats of what you need to wear
No doubt.
Thanksgiving weekend in Vanderbilt Stadium. But
Perfect weekend to do it too.
Jim Irsay is fed up with losing to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah,
I
he
kid.
is.
I'm not kidding about Checker Vandy. I think that is a crusade that we will take up later on in the fall, perhaps.
Yeah. Can I just say though, real quick before you go to Irsay?
Say whatever you want.
Vandy has to be very disrespected by this. But the real question is how many of their fans will actually show up to break up the striping?
No, yeah, I mean not any on Tennessee's side of the stadium.
Like that's the biggest issue of it all. Is like, well, how many of your fan base will actually show up to like break this up?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's the case. Like I want to say I feel bad for Vandy, but it's football season. I can't feel bad for him right now, right? So that's why I'm looking like, guess what, Will? I'll be there.
Man, I don't really know if there is a time that you can feel sorry for Vandy.
Well, no, not really. Let's just be real.
Yeah, that's
It
what I'm
really
saying.
ain't. So I'll be there striped up is what I'm telling you.
Of course.
I might try to find me some depending on how this diet goes, I might be able to find those overalls.
Oh, really?
There we go. You know
Those
what
are
I'm
way
saying?
more common than people think.
I know.
I never understood it.
No.
And then I went to UT and I was like, oh, like people like these.
Yeah, no. I'm getting me a pair is what I'm telling you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, just so you know, I feel like they're baggy enough to where I'm getting in them.
Okay.
I just needed you to know.
Wait, I was on the phone. What just happened? What just happened?
Ramon is planning on wearing checkerboard overalls to checker Vandy.
The way my diet is going really well. Okay, shout out to PhD Medical. Okay, just got a free drop right there. But what I'm telling you, I'm getting in those overalls at this Vandy game, and I'm helping stripe up this stadium. It's petty. It's something that I will enjoy, okay, Shay? And you will see me in those overalls. I'm about that bad boy like Will Fork, man.
I'm a little torn about this.
Why?
Well, let me say this.
Here come the sensible Shay.
No. Hold on.
Okay, all right. I'll backtrack.
It's petty as hell, which is abhorrent and I appreciate simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing I can really say about it is, hey, Vandy, you don't like it, stop it.
Yeah.
Again, this is that meme that's prepare to be annoyed of me. That is how Tennessee fans feel right now.
Now, it further reinforces y'all just being a crackpot fan base.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You made emphasis on
Good.
That's it. That's it. That
We've
is the
waited a long
moment.
time for this, Jonathan Schaefer.
That's the moment.
We've waited a long
Why
time.
everybody's driven nuts by y'all. It's not because you're
And just by
crackpots.
me in
It's because you shut up. It's because you revel in it so much. You enjoy it too much.
We are the danger.
We are the ones who knock.
You're just petty.
We're the ones who knock, Jonathan
And I was
Schaefer.
gonna say, Shape, I was even gonna dive in even more. I was gonna be like emphasis on the crack though.
Goodness sakes.
I know.
6:07 a.m.
Yeah, don't say that.
You basically say, yeah, we're a bunch of tools, deal with it. Which, again,
Sure.
there's a level of that I appreciate.
Yeah, I know it is.
I appreciate it when it comes with a healthy dose of self-awareness. A dying art in this country.
Yeah, straight up.
This
Right.
proper country.
I agree with that.
I've been able to reconcile that with Ramon
He
because
has.
he's become self-aware of it.
I have.
As long as you're self-aware of it,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
For the ones that aren't,
By the way, somebody who else is not self-aware is still Roman Harper, man. Have y'all seen him?
No.
He's doubling down.
Is he really?
Yeah,
On
he
Tennessee
is.
beating Georgia?
Yeah. He's like, no. He said, you're not going 10 until you're going 11-1 now. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
Roman.
just not.
Roman, like, I like you, man. Like, you're all right at times, because even though you went to Alabama, or was it Auburn? Either way,
Alabama.
It was Bama.
Yeah.
They got a lot of Bama people on TV right now, SEC Network.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we have
do.
to break that crap up.
He was one of the kind of the OG
He was
guys.
on
He's one of
early.
the older guys.
Okay,
Well, no,
all right.
that's not what I'm saying. I mean, he's just one of the older members
Analysts.
of the Bama guys.
Yeah,
that are
yeah. Oh,
on
yeah,
TV.
yeah. Well, they got
It's not like
Shaquille
he's
on
just
there
like
now.
a Saban quarterback who wasn't good, but
Yeah.
talks about it. No.
He's stupid. You just
Am I wrong?
anybody that
You think
not
AJ
Tennessee.
McCarron was just this very talented? You think Greg McElroy?
No.
Respectfully, Greg
No.
McElroy does a good job on TV.
I was with you until you said respectfully, because I know you've been very disrespectful
that-
right now.
this
No,
is
it's
respectful.
okay, Will. It's
I'll
Friday.
own it. I'll own it when it's disrespectful.
It's Friday
Greg
because-
McElroy does a good job on television.
I feel like today is going to be that type of day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
No,
It's going
it
to be
is.
a very respectfully disrespectful type of day.
Greg McElroy does do a good job on TV.
He does
he
do a
does.
good day. I didn't say that, but Will, he went in his
He's
career.
not exactly a juggernaut quarterback. but, like,
See, that's the
No,
part
he
that I'm
wasn't a
speaking of.
juggernaut.
I think if he was sitting in the studio right now, he'd be like, "Yeah, that's true."
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you just
Smug.
This is part of it today, huh?
Look, I won a parlay last night, about as electric as one can win a parlay. And it was a boring parlay.
We've talked about
and I'm
this
no,
before,
no,
okay?
no, but this is an exception because this was just funny. This was funny. I hit a parlay. I bet Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds to get over on their receiving yards last
Yeah.
night. And it took until the final completion of the game
Get
for
outta
Raheem
here.
Mostert to get it by 1 yard or by 2 yards. I had over
savvy.
7.5, and he had 6 receiving yards going into the final drive.
That's
I was like, I
savvy.
just need a check down.
So you're buying
I just
lunch
need a
today,
check
then,
down.
right?
Hell
Sure.
yeah, he is.
Hey,
Hey, my
hey.
God.
Final minute.
So you get them when they're happy, Shafe. He's happy right now.
Yeah, that's right. So I had to stay up and sweat that parlay out a little bit last night. But Bengals get the win, and
Yeesh.
NFL has a bad situation on its hands with the handling of Tua Tagovailoa's concussion over the weekend. And quite frankly, Amazon's got an issue in how much they showed Tua on the ground after his really gruesome head injury last night.
I think it's two things that I'm gonna push back a little bit on the handling of Tua. Number one, when we get to that segment, when we finally get to it, my little radio tease right here, just to play
There it is.
DA on this one, okay? And Amazon's situation is what though? They don't have many commercials to go to because they are streaming.
They do.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
You think they do?
Oh, yeah. The inventory is not an issue.
It didn't seem like they did because they just kept coming back quick. Like the whole thing they were doing, like it was what's our guy name that was with Herb Street last night?
Al Michaels?
Al Michaels. Sorry,
Yeah.
Al Michaels, man. If you're listening, I should know your name.
I think
Like,
Al
I'll tell
Michaels
you
has
what,
more
that,
important
you know what
things
that
to do.
was?
what?
I'm disrespectful.
I know Al
You-
Michaels.
Not
You
only
see,
that,
That is a demerit.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I should probably go on
He's
timeout
one of the
after I
goats.
say. I'm not talking after I say. I know he's one of the goats, but Al Michaels had to be told last night there was no commercial for him to go to, so they stuck around. That's all. That's the reason I thought they couldn't go to commercial.
No, they could have and should have.
I'm in timeout right now.
No, you can be live and not have commercial also and not show him on the field with his fingers going in 4 different directions because he's in shock. That's the other thing. Like you can show crowd shots and you can show other things. And I thought they handled it really poorly. I really did. What does this mean that you're in timeout right now? Oh, come on. I'm not going to host the show by myself. That happens from 10 to 1 on the station. I'm not gonna monologue here.
I had to have a moment of silence for me not recognizing Al Michaels right there. Like I knew the entity, but it was just more or less like, all right, Mon, like that's Al Michaels. But you're right though. I personally thought since it was a streaming network like Amazon is everything that they embody that they weren't going to cut away. Again, we bragged about the first week of seeing them as far as Amazon Prime and how their production. Oh, their angles are good. The cameras, like we saw everything.
Visually, very good broadcast.
And I felt like that's what they were chasing last night though too, was the visual concept of, look, you're going to get everything with Amazon Prime. Not in a bad way, but like, there's some, what do you call it, decorum when it comes down to injuries in the NFL, right? Shafe, wouldn't you agree with that a little bit?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's
a judgment call from the truck.
But on that one, his fingers were twisted and just contorted the way it was.
I've never seen that, and I did not want to see it for another split second. And then they showed it again, and then they showed it a third time.
I cringe at that stuff now.
Oh,
I do.
Awful.
Like legitimately
Awful.
teaching my kids the game. Like, and that's what I was thinking about last night. I was like, there's a percentage of the viewers right now, parents who are watching this, that have pretty much ended their kids' career playing football.
I mean, I couldn't play football when I was a kid.
No, right? Like that last night did not help the conversation around it. But that's where I also want to go when it comes down to my topic about what the way I view Tua's situation, the way I view that concussion, all of that last night. So that's my little radio tease again.
I was also a twig, so twigs aren't really allowed to play football. Yeah, I know. I am a twig.
Mm-hmm.
Comparatively, really was then. A big gust of wind would throw me into next week. Coming up next, we hear from Coach Dave McGinnis, our conversation with him as we get into the schematic differences between Gus Bradley's Indianapolis Colts defense and what the Titans have seen through the first 3 weeks of the season so far. The Friday Five coming up at 7:20 as we take a look at 5 NFL games, 5 college football games around a busy weekend that are most interesting to us. Voice the Titans, Mike Keith at 8:20, and former Titans wide receiver Nate Washington at 9:20. Going to go by quick. Tons to get to today. We've got a little bit of time to do it. And when we come back, the head coach of Titans Radio, it's Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons of 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, this is Ramon Foston. Did you know that new regulations are coming soon that can increase the price of replacing your older HVAC system by over 20%? That's why you need to act now and get the older system replaced by my friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They offer 18 months with no payments. You can lock in today's price and not have to pay until spring of 2024. Or you can get up to $1,500 off your new HVAC system. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is always backed by a 10-year parts and labor warranty on York products. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is also a York certified comfort expert company. So if you're in need of a repair also, they offer free service calls with the repairs plus low monthly payments on those repairs. They are the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, available anytime at springhillac.com.
It's Friday. Act like it. I'm Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 104.5 The Zone. Will Bowling, Ramon Foster with you. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen. We go to the phone lines at 615-737-1045. John is in the borough leading us off today. Good morning, John.
Morning, John.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So real quick, we were talking about checkerboard in the Vandy Stadium when Tennessee played Vandy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. So y'all know I don't like Tennessee, but I don't like Vandy even more.
Yes.
That's the right answer.
And I don't talk about this a whole lot. So back in the like late 70s, early 80s, Memphis was an independent in college football. And they had wanted to join the SEC. Now, this was, again, before the SEC became the powerhouse that it now is. And they wanted to play against local teams. And Vanderbilt was the school that said, absolutely the hell not.
Oh.
Yeah. So Ole Miss was on board with it. Mississippi State was on board with it. Tennessee was on board with it. And Vandy said no.
Wow.
So, guys, Tennessee fans, I'm begging you. God bless it. If I can find a ticket, I'll wear orange and white.
There you go, John. We've got plenty for you to choose from. Thank you.
I love that John loves Memphis like that because most Memphis people love Memphis State like that, okay?
That's right.
Yes, they love Memphis State. That was the first place I ever had barbecue nachos is at at the Liberty Bowl. I was like, what is this concoction?
And the Liberty Bowl's about to look pretty different.
Is it? They're getting an upgrade?
Big upgrade.
About time, man.
It's about time.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, Will.
I think the last time thing was being upgraded, I was being born. I'm pretty sure.
That place
a couple weeks
should
ago.
Again, I'll forever be on the platform that says Memphis should be a whole lot better.
Oh, it should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
The city and everything.
Yeah, right.
It's so much there.
615-737-1045. We get into our conversation, though, with Coach Dave McGinnis. I thought this was an especially detailed conversation with him, previewing what the Indianapolis Colts do. And, Ramon, I think there's a stark contrast between what Wink Martindale and the Giants did here in this stadium a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The blitzes, the different looks that they gave, and then the matchups that the Colts want to present in Gus Bradley's defense that is pretty much on the other end of the spectrum. They only blitzed Patrick Mahomes on 2 of his dropbacks over the weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's our conversation with Coach Dave McGinnis, Titans Radio's head coach, breaking down the differences in the Colts versus the other teams the Tennessee Titans have seen this season. What was different about the way Derrick Henry ran with the ball in his hands, catching it, but also just on the ground? Some of those big run plays kind of felt like it was Derrick Henry that we know and love again on Sunday.
It all starts up front. I mean, when you get a push, I mean, look, all these great backs, you have to be able to get a great back to his fourth step because none of them can do anything unless they can get to their fourth step. Mm-hmm. Whether they're taken out of the dot 7 yards deep, whether they're taken out of an offset back, they still, if they're going to generate power and they're going to be able to start jump cutting for any kind of meaningful yards, they got to get to their fourth step.
Yeah, they do.
And for them to get to their fourth step, you've got to get some push up front. They had push up front. They were able to get him that, and then he was hitting it. He's not running any different. He just had places to run. Mm-hmm. And so it's on the blocking unit to get him space. Now, you talk about catching it. You know, what was going on now with the Raiders. Let's talk about that real quick, then we'll move on because that game's won, and you got to move on.
That's right.
The thing that they were trying to prevent, they were dropping their backers back very deep because they're trying to take care of those transcontinentals. They were worried about the play action transcontinentals. In fact, the first big one that Woods hit, Jayon Brown didn't get enough depth. Mm-hmm. That was his play. It went right over his head because they were in a 3-deep coverage. The corner and the safety both traveled with Traylon Burks that took them out of it. And so Jayon had to get deep. He didn't. All right. So now they were back there at depth to take care of that. Mm-hmm. And so with that, then Derrick Henry, would just check down over the middle for 7, 8, 9 yards. He had 5 and 6 yards if he caught it.
Right.
He caught every one of them. And then he turns upfield a little bit. So it all goes together. And so you ask me what was different? They're getting push up front.
Yeah.
Because if you can get push up front, get your big back to the fourth step, then a lot of other things come off of it, Will.
You know what's cool about that? Jayon looked at that play and said, I knew that play. because he's seen it time and time again, Coach Mack. That's so good. That's why I tell people there's really no secrets given out when guys switch team. You still got to play the game.
Well, yeah, you got to play. I mean, there's people, not people.
Go ahead, Mac. Take your time with it, Coach Mac. Go ahead, man.
Here's the thing. There is no magic.
Right.
You got to win your one-on-ones, and then you've got to do your job. I mean, Belichick has a great adage: do your job, which everybody says. And now this football team, where they are now, with some of the pieces they're missing, their adage is find a way.
Yeah.
You just have to find a way to get it done.
Speaking of find a way, facing the team this week, 1-1-1, Coach Mack. Can't let this record fool you, right, when it comes down to the Indianapolis Colts. They are a good outfit that are trying to find a way, and you got a divisional game this week that they want to win.
Yeah, you don't care about their record. I mean, this is a division game, and the only way to continue this playoff streak that the Titans have been on for the last several years, you got to win your division, and to win your division, you have to win your division games. This is the first one. Both of these teams, they know the magnitude of this game. You only get 6 of them, right? In your division, you got to go get it. And so this is big. This is big for both teams. I'm not really I don't care how big it is for Indy. What I want is for the Titans to come out on top and just find a way to get it done. And we'll talk about the particulars of some of the things that Indy has going for them. And one of them is a special back, just like we have one.
Jonathan Taylor has been special for Indianapolis last season. Hasn't really gotten going this year as much, dealing with the turf toe issue a little bit and kind of fighting through that. I wanted to ask you about one of the guys that you evaluated in the draft process, in Jelani Woods, the rookie tight end out of Virginia. 2 touchdown catches for him over the weekend, 6'7". How do you guard a guy like this?
Well, I mean, first of all, you can't give him free access. Right. You give him free access, I mean, you've got a big dude running free. I mean, it's hard. Look, you don't have any 6'7" safeties or 6'7" corners. So let's just understand that. That's not what happens. But what you have to do, first of all, you've got to make the quarterback uncomfortable so that he can't be able to launch it. Now, this guy in the red zone's a problem, because the ball can come out quick down there. I mean, you remember, Will, we sat right here during the draft and with Ramon, because Ramon's on Titans Radio Draft with us. We vet these guys, a lot of them, over 200 of them. And he was one of them that we said, now here's a guy not used very much at Virginia, but athletically you start to look at him, you could see where his game would adapt to the National Football League very, very well. He's a problem because they've got Mo Alley Cox, who again is another big unit in there. So now they can play 12 personnel. They can have 2 big guys out there. And so, I mean, you've got to be able to take care of it, whether you're going to shade him, with a safety, whatever you're going to have to do, play the down and distance and play the sticks. But the first way that you take care of any of this, going back to my coordinator days, is you got to get the quarterback off his spot so he can't sit back there and pat it and give this guy time to work.
And that's one thing too, Coach, that Matt Ryan will do. He did that for years in Atlanta as far as Julio in the red zone, and he did it even last year with Kyle Pitts. You got to make him throw the hard passes this weekend.
Well, yeah, you do, and you got to get him off his spot, and that's the big thing, because he's seen every defense you can throw at him. Once you get a quarterback like this that's been in the league this long, they've seen just about every configuration of defense you can throw at them. Now what it comes down to is being able, at the moment, getting them off the spot, making them uncomfortable, putting them on the ground a couple of times if you can, and then deny free access. If you give a veteran quarterback receivers that have free access to space, whether you're in man or zone, you're asking for problems.
Coach Mack, you've heard this. You probably invented this saying, man. You heard somebody teach it to you, Coach Mack, when I say this. This is a copycat league.
No, but it's all it is.
And with that being said, with what happened in the passing game last weekend with the kid out of the Raiders, you got to expect them to go to Michael Pittman Jr. the same way.
Well, they will, but I expect the Titans had a certain plan when they went into the Raiders. They weren't going to let Devontae Adams and they weren't going to let Waller beat them.
Right.
And so there were some things they did. I watched all week in practice. They didn't let those guys beat them. Now you take your chance with the other one. So they had a guy had a record day, but they still lost the game.
Yes,
and that's really all you're trying to do. So you go into you talk about a copycat league, but every game is an individual matchup game, and so you go into it putting defensive plans together, Ramon, depending on the personnel that you're playing that week. So and so you got to try to take you try to take what you do is you try to take their most dangerous threat away and then live with everything else.
So what happened in the Bills? Bills had Diggs. Diggs did his thing. The week after that, Devontae's not. And this week you want to see both of those plans kind of come together to defeat them in the passing game if they choose to go that route.
Well, Will already brought up Jelani Woods. They've got Alec Pierce, the rookie they brought in, and then of course they got Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's a huge combat catcher, and Pierce has got some length to him. He's a little bit different, a little bit more nuanced. Is not quite as thick, as what Pittman is. But they've got an array of people. We mentioned Taylor, but the guy that has always bothered me, since I've been broadcasting, Titans games and broadcasting Titans versus Colts games is Nyheim Hines.
Yeah.
Because Hines is a matchup nightmare for linebackers in man coverage, and they will deploy him everywhere. He's not just a guy that's out of the backfield so that you might be able to, they will split him out. Yeah. He's an individual route runner. He's got great speed. The touch pass that they'll throw to him underneath is big. Jet sweeps are big. This guy and his speed is amazing. They've got two guys on their team, Taylor and he, that have some of the top speeds GPS-wise so far in the league. These guys can run. But Nyheim Hines is another guy that, to me, doesn't get – now, people that are playing them, defensive coaches and defensive players, are very aware of who he is. The general public doesn't really think much of Nyheim Hines just because, you got Jonathan Taylor, you've got other people there. Nyheim Hines is a problem.
Yeah, he is, Coach.
Coach Mack, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better rates, better coverage, and better service. That's why Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau Health Plans for their health coverage for 75 years. Coach Mack, the Colts averaged 3.5 yards per play on first down in their loss to Jacksonville. How important is the Titans defense getting early down success to try to take Jonathan Taylor out of this game for the Colts offense?
Well, you won't take him out doing it because they'll keep handing it to him.
Sure.
I mean, it's like the Titans with Derrick Henry. You've got to continue to give your horse the ball, and they're going to continue to do that. But the overarching fact of what you just said, Will, is you always want to get ahead of the chains. Defensively, you're trying to win first down, and win first down is if it's 2nd and 5 or more, then you felt like you've won first down because that's what you're looking at. And if you can get it 2nd and 6 plus, then you're way on the plus side because what happens is the offense's playbook shrinks and your defensive playbook expands. Now, if you're always looking at 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, then you're behind the chains. You've got a problem. So it's very important to be able to win first down regardless. But they will not take Jonathan Taylor out of the game plan just because of a yard or two and down in distance.
Speaking of game plan, somebody that at least the Titans have to be preparing for, Shaquille Leonard, Darius Leonard. What does he mean to that defense if he's out there, Coach Mack? And what do you have to look for when you got a guy?
Well, the guy's an eraser. I mean, he's an eraser back there. But you talk about him not playing. They're number 3 in the league against the run without him playing, and they're number 1 in the league as far as yards per carry. This is a very, very stout defensive front, and what they're doing now. I mean, they play a 3-match coverage back there, so you're going to have a safety down some. It's a Seattle defense. It's a 3-match coverage, but you got a 4-man front. But what you are looking at when you start talking about people, they've got 2 excellent edge setters on their 4-man front in Kwity Paye and Yannick Ngakoue.
Yes,
those guys can set an edge, and they can set an edge. And then DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart inside, major loads. Major loads. You played guard in this league. You know that the center guard triangle looks at those guys. So they do an excellent job of setting an edge and building a wall inside against the run, even without their best behind-the-ball linebacker. So this is a real challenge with this defense.
You mentioned winning the one-on-ones up front. Nicholas Petit-Frere, I thought, had a good day against the Raiders. Nate Davis has been terrific so far this season for the Titans offensive line. Ramon and I have talked about that a lot over the past couple of days. How creative do the Titans have to be in finding ways to get Derrick Henry the ball and combat that front, aside from just winning the one-on-ones?
Well, I mean, there are no magic plays.
Sure.
I mean, you're either going to hand it to him or you're going to throw it to him. You know, and what you try to do if you're going to run an outside zone, then you got to get your combo blocks and you got to get movement. If you want to run the one back power O stuff where you're either pulling a center guard or a tackle guard. You've got to be able to get your down blocks so that they can't get any penetration, and then you got to get a hat on a hat, and that's what they're going to have to do. So far, nobody's had much success doing it, running the football on them, because they're good. And here's the thing: they don't do a lot of things. They just, whatever they do it very well. Gus Bradley's got those guys set in there. They understand what's going on. Much like when that Pete Carroll had that group going in Seattle pretty hard. You didn't have to worry about a whole lot of different looks, but that whatever they were doing, they were going to do it extremely well, and you had to beat them. You had to beat them technique-wise.
Mm-hmm. Thought it was interesting. Gus Bradley and the Colts defense only blitzed Patrick Mahomes on 2 of his dropbacks over the weekend in their win over Kansas City. Philosophically, how is this defense different from what the Titans have seen in the first couple of weeks?
Well, just what you said. I mean, as I said, this is that Legion of Boom defense.
Right.
It's a 3-match. It's what it's called, as to where you're going to match. You're going to play man on one side, zone on the other. It's out of a 3 shell. It's always out of a 3 shell, but you're very, very set on the front with what you're going to do, where the gap control is, and also where the linebackers are filling. And that's what I say. They don't do a lot of tricks, and movement up front. They might, if they get you in 3rd and chains, do some things. But it's basically pretty basic what they do. They just do it very well. And to me, the front is the real strength of this football team defensively, and that's what they do.
Coach Mack, when you look at their OL, Will's pointing out the highest paid OL in the league, man, but they're having their issues. I mean, sack totals is up. Running game is not what they want it to be. What aren't they doing good that the Titans can really expose them at?
Well, they're not getting much movement.
Wow.
I mean, and for that money, you got to get movement.
You better get movement.
Yeah, you better get movement. I mean, they moved the Brinks truck in for them. They need to get movement up front. I mean, that has to happen. And you just don't want them to get it together against us. That's what you don't want, because they're the highest paid, and they've got talent up there. Quentin Nelson, best guard in the league when you start looking at what he's doing. But look, nobody can do it singly on the offensive line. Ramon, you know that better than anybody else. They got to do it in unison. Right now, they're a little bit segmented, and so we just don't want them to get their act together against the Titans.
There we go.
It's interesting, as Matt Ryan has been sacked 12 times, the 4th most in the NFL, but the Colts have allowed the 4th lowest pressure rate in the National Football League. Is it just partly Matt Ryan taking time to adjust and them kind of being banged up at wide receiver, kind of a factor there too? No,
what that tells you is they're getting beat quick. They're getting beat quick, off the line of scrimmage for the sacks, but they're doing a decent job, keeping them protected other than that. So that's what that tells you. And then when you look at the tape, you verify that. It's not like they're getting beat every time, but when they do get beat, they're getting beat quick.
Okay.
They're getting beat quick, and they're getting some free access. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Should be an interesting matchup, Coach. I'm looking for Derek to start this game off right. We saw it once. We need to see it again. Now, he's the key to get this team going.
Well,
Coach.
the key for him getting going is up front.
Well, yeah.
They got to get up front.
I don't want to blame the O-line.
Derek, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just telling you facts, and they know it too.
Yeah.
No running back in the history of the league can do it without somebody up in front of them creating some movement. Create movement. Jim Brown had to get to his 4th step.
Yeah.
Create movement, get him to his 4th step, because he was running with some force when he could get to that 4th step. And that's what we need.
So there is Coach Dave McGinnis talking about the differences in the Colts and other defenses the Titans have seen. Good conversation there. If you missed any of it, you can check it out as well wherever you download podcasts from Hour 4 of yesterday's show under Ramon and Will. Coming up, we take a look at the Titans headlines and another injury report that provides some good news and some bad for the Titans going into Colts week. It's Ramon and Will, powered by all 4 seasons of 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Jonathan Schaefer for Lee Company, and you've heard me talk about all of the solutions that you can get at your residence, the home maintenance plans, how Lee Company can help you with plumbing, electrical, and so much more. But what about your facility, especially if you're a facility manager? Lee Company, they can help you out with that too. They can provide the solutions for maintaining your facility, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, general maintenance, new technology, much more. And they're not just providing services for you. They can become your on-site strategic partner. Yeah, you can enter this partnership with them. Now, whatever your facility may be, they work with unique facilities, and they can offer you custom solutions for your business. If you want to find out more, leecompany.com. Click on My Facility. That's leecompany.com, My Facility. Get solutions for your facility with Lee Company. All you need.
Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 104.5 The Zone. Friday edition. Friday, please act like it. Friday 5 coming up in hour number 2 as we take a look at 10 games of the world of football we are most interested in. 5 for me on the college side and 5 for Ramon in the National Football League. Titans headlines yesterday for the practice field. Traylon Burks, who did not practice on Wednesday because of an illness, was back. Full participant. It's good news. Bud Dupree, who was inactive against Las Vegas, a full participant on Wednesday, limited yesterday. A step in the wrong direction for him. Monty Hooker with a concussion did not practice for the second straight day. Sheesh. Austin Hooper returned to practice after not practicing on Wednesday. He had a yellow non-contact jersey. Zach Cunningham, elbow injury against the Raiders. He did not practice for the second straight day. Kyle Phillips was once again in the yellow jersey out there. Ola Adeni was also in a yellow uniform. Full participant Christian Fulton. That's good news for the Titans at this point.
Yep.
Ugo Amadi did not practice Thursday. Cody Hollister did not practice. The one that concerns me, Ramon, Nate Davis, now listed with a knee injury, does not practice for the Titans yesterday.
He just iffy, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be there. I would assume he was there. What was his report on Wednesday?
Nothing.
Okay, yeah.
There was no designation Wednesday, and then gets a little knock to the knee on yesterday's practice.
Was this why he was out at the latter part of camp too? Remember, he missed a good portion of camp also. If it's not, to me, this is business as usual when it comes down to it. He probably just had a little bit of inflammation, man. And I'm not downplaying it, but I don't see it being anything serious. And this is the other part. Money's on the line. I just can't see him missing much football this year, and especially going on the road to play Indy. I can't see practice being that crazy yesterday for the Titans for him to have a major injury.
Sure.
On the Thursday. If more than anything, he probably just needs rest. As far as his OL goes, it's him and the Temptations almost at this point.
Him and the Temptations?
Yeah, he's the guy. It's Nate Davis in the O-line. Ben is doing this thing too, but Nate's really having a good year right now. Yeah. Well,
never heard that one before.
Yeah, it's Nate Davis in the Temptations is what I'm telling you. Him and Ben Jones are holding up the end of everybody else. Look at the rest of the starters on this Titans OL. If Nate wants a day, Nate's going to get a day at this point.
Nate has been the best offensive lineman the Titans have had this season.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's Nate Davis and the Temptations.
Colts releasing their second practice report of the week as well. Julian Blackman and DeForest Buckner did not practice. Stephon Gilmore, Ryan Kelly, Yannick Ngakoue, and Jonathan Taylor were all full participants. Bernard Ryman and Odengbo.
Yeah.
With a neck injury. Both those guys limited. Shaquille Leonard practiced in full for the second straight day. That is now 5 straight practices where he has been a full participant. So, again, I think people were surprised that he was a full participant all of last week and then did not play. I can't imagine that's going to be the case 2 weeks in a row.
No, and especially, again, I can't bring this up enough. Their owner is tweeting out, pack Lucas Oil Stadium.
He is fed up with the Titans, man.
Yeah, he is.
He is pressed.
So
he's pressed on Twitter.
All hands on deck when it comes down to the Titans going to Indianapolis this weekend. So it's probably going to be the last person being introed, Shaq Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where we're at right now?
Either him or DeForest Buckner.
Shaq Leonard.
Yeah.
This is kind of where I see it is.
Sure.
Me personally, and you're probably right, DeForest Buckner, if it's him playing, or it's got to be Darius Leonard, a.k.a. Shaq Leonard.
The next time I care about what Jim Irsay says is the first time I care about what Jim Irsay says.
But it's just good for sports, though, because if they get smashed, what is Irsay going to say then?
He's just going to keep talking.
That's the reason I like it.
He's going to make a cringy Twitter video of him on his private jet after the game. Colts fans,
the amount of pettiness.
I promise you we're going to get this right.
Yeah, no.
We're going to get this right. We're still in the mix. Hang with us. Go Colts.
Yeah, we're going to see. I'm looking
heavy
forward to
smoker,
it.
I guess, Jim Irsay, according to the voice I'm doing for him.
Heavy everything.
He's doing a lot, man.
He's doing
a lot.
I don't think we want to go down that road.
Everybody got their demons, man. I will not be.
Don't
I'm all hands off on this one.
I mean, well, maybe he should have been.
And on that note, hour 1 comes to a close. It's Friday and we're acting like it. Much more college football discussion coming up in hour 2. We'll take a look back at Thursday Night Football. The Friday 5 on deck for hour number 2. It's Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Jonathan Schaefer. I'm here with my friend Trey Hartsook of Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. And Trey, it is a football season, and we know that everyone out there, the teams, the coaches, they have a plan. You've got a plan for us, a turf plan. Tell everybody about it.
We know that we have our lawn. Maybe we don't like the way it looks. Maybe it's full of weeds. And we do not want that. We want people to come over to watch football on the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. We want them to say, wow, man, what did you do to your turf? You talked about that turf plan. That thing is near and dear to my heart because I've seen the transition. People start in the fall, they don't have much, right? Then they airify, they overseed, they use the custom products from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. They come in the spring. It is 100% change, and it looks a lot better. Stop in and see us. There's turf experts at every single location. Nashville, Cool Springs, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lamar, Mountain Juliet, and Franklin open up at 7 a.m., close at 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 on Saturdays. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
7 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. Thursday night football last night. Bengals 27, Dolphins 15. The biggest story from the game, Tua's injury that led him to being stretchered off the field and taken to a nearby hospital.
He's going to be sacked back in his own territory at the 47-yard line. Tua's down.
He got body slammed. He got thrown down, and they're coming out right now. Jimmy had time to get rid of it. Instead, he gets thrown down hard, and he's not getting up. Oh, boy.
Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said the QB sustained a concussion. Coming up Sunday, Titans at Colts. Noon kickoff. Mike Keith and Coach Dave McGinnis with the call courtesy of Titans Radio. We've got two college football games that will be on the zone tomorrow. Number 9, Oklahoma State at number 16, Baylor. Coverage begins for that one at 2 o'clock. And then at 6, LSU at Auburn. High school football tonight, Oakland at Blackman, pregame at 6:45. And Major League Baseball, Mets at the Braves, 6:20, the first pitch tonight. First game of a 3-game set that could essentially decide the NL East title. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Hour number 2 off and running. Prepared to be sick of us, the people say. Alongside 11-year NFL veteran, involved for life, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. Many say he's the best producer in the world.
The best producer in the world.
Not me, but many. Will Bowling here with you, or you can join us at 615-737-1045. Thursday night football, a good one last night with the Miami Dolphins picking up their first loss of the season, and we'll see next week how that is reflected in our top 7, bottom 3.
Yes, sir.
One of the top teams in the league. Cincinnati, great atmosphere there last night.
That's
Whatever
rare.
their new stadium is called. Not a new stadium,
Paul
but
Brown Stadium.
new to a lot of those fans that didn't see them.
It's
the
more
past
like
couple years.
Suck It Stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
wow, okay.
Well,
Is that how you really feel?
yeah. Do you need what more confirmation do you need?
Okay,
here?
perfect.
It was cute. That's what I'm saying. It was cute.
That was the largest crowd in the history of that stadium.
It was the largest crowd.
Mm-hmm.
In the,
That's what Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels said on the Amazon broadcast.
that's cute.
What else are you going to do in Cincinnati?
Eat bad chili and watch bad baseball.
There we go.
And bad soccer.
That's it.
They're bad at sports in that town.
Right.
Not good.
They're I guess the Bearcats are decent, but
They had one good
Well,
year.
Well, hold
They're
on.
better than decent.
more than one. I mean,
see,
that's
I'm
not
crapping
fair.
on
now.
them.
Now you're just being a hater.
but they gave us
Now
Butch
you're just
Jones.
being.
Well, just
Well,
like
no,
you
they
talk
didn't
about
give you Butch
Clausen.
Jones. Y'all chose Butch Jones.
That's
Let's
true.
be fair about
That's
that.
true.
You got to own that
Yeah,
part
Will,
of it.
own that.
You got to
Will.
own that.
Own it, Will.
Gotta own it.
It's
Nah.
okay.
Nah.
Yeah,
No.
That's the largest crowd they've had, though.
it was.
Wow. Good for them for finally getting something.
So I just.
That's all
I
I
know
got.
your Cleveland hatred. I didn't know Cincinnati
They're
was
in the
like
division.
equal. Well, I know.
Cincy and Cleveland are together on this one, okay?
So and then Baltimore, you actually have a lot more respect.
Yeah, a
for.
whole lot more respect. I mean, they got
Okay.
good crab cakes, and I respect their players.
That's why you respect them.
Look, you hate Baltimore,
Yeah.
but you respect
I
them.
respect the hell out of them. But the thing about Cincinnati and Cleveland is you get chilly in friggin' Cincinnati, which is trash, and then in Cleveland you get bad weather and that lake effect. And I got taxed 2 times while playing them. So
There you
yeah,
go.
definitely not a fan. I love the state of Ohio, but
I grew up in the era of Titans football, just growing up here that, or just in the era of Nashville, that I will always say that the Baltimore Ravens are the biggest rival for the Titans, just like the Detroit Red Wings are the biggest rival for the Nashville Predators. Because growing up, that is what we were raised on in this city, is you hate the Ravens when they come to town and you hate the Red Wings when they bring all their red to town.
oh wow.
And then now, obviously, those things change and division lines change, and the AFC Central, is the AFC North, the AFC South, and all of those things happen. But I think Titans fans can certainly relate on that, having a certain amount of respect. I don't think Titans fans have as much of the respect for the Ravens simply because of the amount of tough playoff losses they've taken to the Ravens, including a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Ravens have a special place in history in this town for sure. So we can relate.
Yeah.
Can certainly relate.
It's
but
called the River is where it's at, ain't it?
that's right.
Yeah. Bottom of it.
Tennessee native Von Bell gets 2 interceptions last night for the Cincinnati Bengals.
He's from here?
Yeah.
What part of the state?
I forget exactly where he went to high school. Let me look that up. Because I remember when he committed to Ohio State, it was between Tennessee and Ohio State. And that was, I want to say, Derek Dooley's recruitment. No, that was Butch Jones. It was Butch's first class. It was the same class Joshua Dobbs came in at Tennessee. And he almost got Von Bell on signing day and didn't. No, he's not from Tennessee. He's from Rossville, Georgia. I don't know who
He got born in Chattanooga.
There you go. No, never mind. I was right. He was born in Chattanooga. There you go. So, yes, he is from Tennessee. Undemerit me. I don't think you get one that sticks. A sound for that.
No, you get one that sticks. You Schaefer make up for it later if that's the case. You might. Yeah, exactly.
But honorable mention, all Big Ten in 2014. 5-star prospect who, there you go, chose Ohio State over Tennessee on signing day in 2013. So I had that part right at least.
Okay.
But that was when Tennessee out of nowhere got Joshua Dobbs from Arizona State. They get him to flip on signing day. They were not able to do so with Von Bell. But had 2 picks in his career going into that game last night, and then gets 2 picks, one off of Tua Tagovailoa, and then another off of Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Bridgewater's that guy just appears on sidelines, and a guy gets hurt, and it's like, okay, well, Teddy Bridgewater's coming in. It's like, good. It's Groundhog Day.
Teddy's good, man.
You know what his nickname is in a lot of circles?
What?
Because he always covers the spread as an underdog. Spready Bridgewater.
Spready Bridgewater's. He didn't cover last night? No.
He did not last night. The live line was 4.5 when he came in.
Sheesh. I told you I had to take about this before we go into the Friday Fives too.
Yep.
About Tua's injury last night.
So yes, for the background for those that didn't watch, or just the entire story of what's going on here. Ultimately, Tua Tagovailoa, on a little bit of a technicality, is able to come back in without passing certain concussion protocols on Sunday in Miami, and the Dolphins win over the Buffalo Bills. It was ruled as a back injury and not head and neck. So he's able to come back in and not pass the concussion tests. Mm-hmm. Leads the Dolphins to victory in that game. And then 4 days later is back on the field and is thrown down in this game and has a violent head injury. Head hitting the turf again. His fingers you could see going in different directions.
They call it fencing.
Right. You're going to push back on a lot of the criticism about this situation.
Yes. The criticism about last night doesn't correlate to Sunday. I'll just say this.
Okay.
The way Tua was grabbed and slammed on his back and his head hit the turf was wild. Will, I saw this happen on Tuesday in the game. Me and my wife was watching my son's team play against another team. There was a quarterback that got hit the exact same way. He got slung, hit his head on the turf. The kid gets up, grabs his head, and me and my wife both like, that kid's got a concussion. Like, get that kid out of the game. I'm having a conversation with someone. Well, there's a group chat going on right now with Rob and another one of our homeboys, Ayers, and I'm telling them, like, a lot of people don't speak about the sports psychology of pressure. Like, Miami Dolphins right now they're good, right? Tua is finally having the career that he wants to right now. So I think they did scathe over the fact that he had a concussion the same way this past Tuesday. I know that kid, that quarterback on that team had a concussion also.
Sure.
But the coaches continue to let kids play. Oh, I'm fine. And they made an excuse for Tua on Sunday to get him to this short week on Monday. Okay? So last night's situation. That wasn't a correlation of what happened on Sunday. What I'm saying is this. The way Tua got slung at his size with that force against that defensive lineman from Cincinnati, that was going to happen regardless. Now, also what I'm saying is this. Because I suspect he may have had a concussion from Sunday, and he didn't heal up all the way, which is why players have to have a safeguard. You got to have a friend. You got to be able to trust your training staff to say, hey, I'm actually hurt right now. I'm injured. Because if you don't, and we just spoke about concussions the other day, did we not? Yep. If you don't allow your brain, your concussion to get back to ground zero as far as your symptoms, then it escalates even more. It wouldn't shock me this time around if Tua was out longer. Because if you get one to another, the symptoms and side effects last a whole lot longer.
100%.
And I think that's what Tua's dealing with. I think he may have had some sensitivity to what happened on Sunday. But that hit last night was simply going to happen to almost anybody that was tackled the way Tua was and the way his head hit the ground last night. And this is the other part. Fans of the NFL, okay, and consumers of it, they love to hate what the NFL does while also being right back at it too.
Always.
And that's why I'm like, now you get mad about it, but this was going to happen to anybody. Like, you love to hate the NFL and be right back at it again. And what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. This will probably blow over in a segment or throughout the week, or we'll have this conversation about Tua. I'll just say this. We who watch this always have something controversial to say about the NFL. But that hit was going to knock almost anybody out.
Yeah.
When it happened, I was telling Rhett when he was in here a second ago, Will, I didn't even have to see his hands. When I saw him get suplexed the way he did, I was like, he's out.
It was a wrap.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Before they even said it, because I've seen that hit.
I think it's important context to know that in the short term, Tua Tagovailoa was being knocked out of the game by that hit, regardless of what happened on Sunday.
Not because of Sunday,
Sure.
right? Exactly.
But at the same time, now his recovery process might take longer and might be more dangerous to his long-term health.
Yep.
Because of what happened on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of a long-term discussion. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
What you're telling me is this is more of a long-term discussion of his long-term well-being versus his short-term availability.
Yes. And this is also the other part of it, too, where teams, well, you've been in these situations before.
Sure.
The psychology of what you can and can't do.
Yeah,
the
right.
pressure of you've been in a situation, man, my ankles are killing me right now. But I got to run. When you're running with the pack, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, you sped up because, and you knew you were tired.
It just means you get ice and stim before and after practice. It just means you got to put in more time in the training room.
Me personally, there has to be a bigger focal point on being able to pull guys out of situations that you know they're not supposed to be in. I think it needs to be a bigger concentration on that than the actual injury. Like, if I see somebody with a hammy, hey, man, you need to go on and come out.
Well, and especially just the success the Miami Dolphins have had this season and the success Tua's had.
Yeah.
I mean, the game he played against Baltimore is as good as Tua Tagovailoa has looked in the NFL. And we're probably going to look back in a while and say that's the best Tua ever looked in the NFL.
So when he's at that point, Will, you ask yourself if this is the best Miami has looked, if this is the best that Tua has looked,
right?
Are you the reason why they're winning? All three of those things are yeses. How hard would it be to pull you up out of that, Will?
It was tough.
When you think you're young and invincible too.
It's certainly an interesting discussion, and I think it's one that has to be discussed with important nuance and context that Ramon's given the people right now, because I think there are a lot of people that are going to take it out of context and try to make the argument that, Tua's gruesome head injury in this game specifically, this happened because he played 4 days after a concussion Sunday. That's not necessarily correct. It's now the process is going to be harder from a recovery standpoint coming back because you're building off of a similar injury that happened on Sunday. Mike McDaniel pushed back quite a bit on it. Told people, look, I'm not going to put a guy in harm's way ever, 100%. Well, that's probably more of a mistake that you made in the moment on Sunday than anything else. But we'll see. Next steps are going to be important for Tua, going to be important for him. The report was positive. He was discharged from the hospital last night, did have movement in all of his extremities. So that was good. Just considering you see that stretcher come out, your mind always goes to the worst case scenario, right?
100%.
With the back and the neck stuff. And you think about Eric LeGrand and Rutgers, and you see a guy stiff like that.
Yeah.
With the stretcher, and that's just always kind of the first place your mind goes.
Just throw this out there one more time. I know we're up on this break. That's why I'm always on coaches. That's why I'm always pissed at coaches that hey, just go hit him. No. You have to teach the game the proper way. Head up when you go tackle somebody.
Hit 'em the right
Head
way.
up when you're blocking somebody. Keep your head out of it. Those foam pads that they have on their head, they may weigh a little bit, but they keep you from that trauma. Again, I know all things I sign up for when I play football. I understand the assignment, but I was very conscious about keeping my head out of stuff. Hey, if you got a ding, hey, man, wig, nor wig. Come grab him, man. He's a little dinged up. Like, you got to have people that watch out for you, and you got to watch out for yourself, because now Tua's concussion could have been next week, week 5, but now he's probably week 8. They might speed him up in this process, but it's probably going to take a little bit longer to recover.
And all eyes are going to be on this process now.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the NFL wants this, obviously, to happen again, where he's playing on a very quick turnaround after the image they got last night in the Thursday night game. 615-737-1045 is the number. When we come back, we take more of your phone calls and take a look at the Friday Five in the world of college football in the NFL.
Yes,
5
sir.
college football games for me on a huge weekend in week 5. Ramon Foster gives 5 NFL games he's watching the closest this weekend. Coming up next, it's Ramon and Will, powered by all 4 seasons of 104.5 The Zone.
When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We are afraid of what we are going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed, or it could be a small problem now that'll become bigger later, or it could be nothing at all. In these moments, you want a peace of mind. That's when you need USS, United Structural Systems. With USS, you get problem solvers, experts to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. USS will provide an honest diagnosis and stand by their work and warranties. And the best thing is, the warranties stay with the house. USS is based right here in Middle Tennessee and is a member of our community. When it comes to something as important as your home, USS is a company who cares and a company you can trust. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Find them online at USSTN.com or call 615-227-2275. We guarantee our best. Call USS.
You reach certain milestones in your life. You reach certain times of your life where you look around and go, boy, we've just had a child recently. We're looking to be in this place in 5 years, maybe another place in 10 years. We are going to need a bigger home. And don't let the current marketplace scare you. Don't let it run you off. You can find that bigger home, that perfect home for you, and I've got the people that can help you do it. Hey, I'm Jonathan Schaefer, Mortgage Investors Group. They have the expertise, they have the experience, and they're the Southeast's leading mortgage lender. Mortgage Investors Group, here to help you get the right home loan for that right situation in your life. Now, mortgage experts that care, committed to helping you close on time, structure a loan that best works for you, and help making that home buying experience a little easier and making those home buying goals a reality. You want to find out more? If you want to work with Mortgage Investors Group, MIGonline.com. Find the office nearest you or text MIG to 31399 MIG 31399. That's who you text. That's where you text it to. Get pre-qualified. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan, equal housing lender, license number 109111.
Metro Center, 65 southbound before Rosa Parks Boulevard. Accident's been moved to the shoulder at the airport. Murfreesboro Pike, a crash at Donaldson Pike. And Smyrna, 24 westbound after Stanbridley Parkway. Accident blocks the shoulder. Traffic slow from Almaville Road. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 1045 The Zone.
Ramona Will, powered by all four seasons of 1045 The Zone. Hour number 2, rocking and rolling with you. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen. Will Bowling and 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster running through the top NFL and top college football games you need in your life this weekend. It's a fantastic college football weekend. It's a very good weekend for the Tennessee football Vols to not be playing because you just sit back and enjoy a little bit of chaos tomorrow. But before we get to the college football games, Ramon Foster leads us off on our Friday Five with 5 NFL games that are of particular interest coming up this weekend.
Yes, indeed.
Start us off, number 5.
Man, number 5? They're going to think I'm a homer when I say this one, but Steelers, Jets.
Okay.
Steelers right now looking very stagnant on offense, man. Not really a good look for them. People are calling for the OC to be fired. The O-line is finally getting it together. Got all the weapons in the world, and you can't get anything going to get wins. The way they lost last week was very unlike them in the sense of the way they lost to Cleveland. They had it there, and it just didn't work out. On the other hand, I think Zach Wilson is supposed to make a comeback this week. Not sure, but if that's not the case, then you got Joe Flacco on the other side of it, who was very familiar.
Elite.
With Pittsburgh, man. And it's a home game. No T.J. Watt. They're playing games without their superstar. They got to find a way to get wins. This team could legitimately go over the next week, well, like 1-6.
Really?
Yeah. They got a juggernaut of a schedule coming after this one. So to be able to get this Jets game has to be huge for them. After they play the Jets, they have I think they got Buffalo. They have Miami again. It's a real interesting take that they have. Let me say, there's a real interesting schedule that they have for the rest of the year. They got Buffalo, they got Tampa, they got Miami, they got Philly, then a bye week.
Wow.
You got to get this Jets game.
It's a gauntlet.
It
What's
is a
the
gauntlet.
over-under in that gauntlet of when Kenny Pickett could take over?
No later than a bye.
Really?
Absolutely no later than a bye. So
Interesting.
by week 9 is where I see them being at.
It's interesting, too, just the way that schedule works, that if things get desperate enough,
Yeah.
they might kind of be forced into doing something.
It's getting to that point.
If things get bad and
Yeah.
you're, 1-4, 1-5, 2-4, then
I mean,
it's not going to get much worse. You might as well try it.
I never say never when it comes down to Coach Tomlin and his teams, but
Sure.
this one's looking real bleak, man.
Number 4.
Number 4 on my
in
list.
week 4.
Broncos Raiders.
Okay.
And specifically for the Raiders effect.
I think the Raiders get in the win column this
You
weekend.
think they get in the win column
I
this
do.
week?
I think they are much, much, much better than 0-3.
Well, look what Russ has done these last couple of weeks, though. Like, let's be honest right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Russ has squeezed out wins against teams that are lower than what they should be. Well, they're competing against Houston, okay? Like, and then they still win. Like, that's where they are as a team right now. I'm looking at it and saying, if Oakland doesn't get this win, like, what is Josh McDaniels also? And this is the thing, you can never count Russ out.
Sure.
He finds a way to get wins, and that Denver defense is actually pretty good, too. So where are they? Do the same thing that the Titans did against Devontae, let one receiver not named Devontae Adams go off, you get a dub.
That game ultimately comes down to Bradley Chubb against the young offensive line, especially at the tackle positions for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb is a game wrecker, man. I think he is one of the guys that's not talked about enough at the edge position. Denver gets, by the way, another primetime game next Thursday against the Colts.
Denver gets another?
I don't know why. Who decided to put Denver in primetime this much?
It's the Russ effect. It is.
I know, but I just don't. I mean, if I wanted to see Russell Wilson going through his visualizations on the field by himself 3 hours before kickoff of faking passes without a football and sitting on a knee in a huddle trying to talk, that guy.
Simulating plays.
And I really used to like Russ, but he's losing me.
You're off Russ now. Wow.
He's losing me.
He's not cooking for you anymore. It's clear.
Not at all.
But the 0-3 Raiders got to figure something out.
I
thought they were going to be a sleeper, sneaky team this year, and they've done neither, man. Next on my list is number 3, Bills Ravens.
Fascinating game, and maybe the two best runners at the quarterback position, those two and Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
You could also throw in there, but Lamar Jackson is the MVP favorite right now, without question.
Yeah.
In what he's been able to do, and averaging over 50 rushing yards a game, and averaging those 300 passing yards a game. Nobody's ever done that before.
Wow.
And he's been terrific.
He has.
Can he be terrific against a banged-up Bills secondary and a banged-up Bills defense? I just think Buffalo is so injured right now. Mm-hmm. It's hard to really evaluate them and say how good they actually are at their best because they're so far from their best right now.
Yeah. And I, truth be told, I think Baltimore and the Bills and Philly are some of the top teams in this league. Like upper. They're above everybody else when I'm looking at it. Like, and this game should probably be number one, but I'm not having them there right now. My number 2 game is Chiefs-Bucks.
Okay.
Chiefs got to bounce back from that win versus they got to bounce back from that win versus Indy. Shouldn't have lost to them the way they did. Just watching them play this past weekend, it was bad. Special teams was bad. Patrick Mahomes and his OC weren't on the same page. And you got to figure out to yourself with how he's going about his career, he's going to find a way to bounce back. That's the way I see this game kind of shaking out for them. But it's the Bucs, though. You got a hurricane game in which they're dealing with right now, adjusting their schedule, being able to kind of say Tom Brady is still the GOAT. And this is the thing, too. Guys like him want to be able to play against guys like Patrick Mahomes to really solidify themselves as a juggernaut in this league, or just push down Patrick Mahomes again.
Tampa needs somebody to step up, a wide receiver outside of Russell Gage and Brashard Perryman.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how banged up they are at that position. Mike Evans goes through the suspension last week. Godwin working his way back from a knock as well. It's just a really weird-looking offense right now because you don't have the normal faces up front to protect Tom Brady, and you also don't have the normal faces at wide receiver, and Julio Jones, of course, is hurt after his one good week to start the season against Dallas. So that's an interesting one.
That is. Number 1 game of the week. Crazy I'm even putting them in this conversation. Jags-Eagles.
Really?
Jags-Eagles to me.
So it's interesting. Doug Peterson against Philly.
Yep.
He's got the statue out front.
Yep.
Playing against the Eagles. And it's very much a is Jacksonville for real kind of game.
And that's where I'm at. And also, is Philly real?
Oh, I think we know that.
No, I say this because it's
You're
defense.
Not there yet?
No, I just want to see. I think highly of this Jaguars defense. They're young. They're energetic. They're making plays on each other. They're fast enough to go run down Jalen Hurts also. They got a good back end. Their defensive front is pretty good. It penetrates well. Like, this team right here is to me a really good challenge. But on the other side of it, offensively, for what the Eagles do, like, they are good. I think some of the best offensive players in the league on one team, including their quarterback. They have playmakers. They have guys that can go get the ball. I think this is probably one of those primetime games. At the beginning of the season, nobody expected either one of these teams to be this good. I think we thought Philly would be okay.
Right.
But the Jags being able to do what they've done so far. And on the other side of what the Jags do well is get the run game going. Jordan Davis and crew. Like, being able to stop them. Fletcher Cox is a guy we saw this morning making plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have their challenges too. I think this is good on good this weekend. It's crazy. I'm saying the Jags are good.
It is wild that Doug Peterson is going to return to Lincoln Financial Field, where there is a statue of him calling the Philly special to Nick Foles outside the stadium. It's very strange.
I think that was a premature firing, or it was just right on time?
No, I mean, I think it made sense considering everything that was going on in Philly.
Okay.
And just the general desperation in that city and fan base.
I understood.
And when it goes sour quickly.
And they botched
those people.
Carson Wentz pretty bad.
They did.
Yeah, okay.
They did.
Okay.
So that is a solid one. I probably would have gone the Bills game one. But I think as far as Titans fans are concerned and people in this city, Jacksonville and Philadelphia gives you a lot of information about a division rival and about another team that is just always going to be now of particular interest based on who wide receiver one is.
That's where I ended up going with it. So
right.
Just, okay, we got to watch them.
So that's going to be a good one. Yeah, I think it's solid.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni having to coach against a guy who's in bronze outside the stadium. It's just a pretty weird. I mean, that's like Steve Spurrier going back to Florida as the South Carolina head coach and beating them on a last-minute field goal.
See what I'm saying?
As he's, standing in bronze outside Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
And Philly fans going to let them know how they feel.
It's very strange. By the way, while we're talking statues in Knoxville, can we get like the monstrosity of like that like windmill whirly, like big metal thing on the pedestrian walkway, like taken down for like a like a Fulmer or like a Peyton statue or something. Probably not Fulmer.
Pedestrian?
Which
one?
The pedestrian walkway,
library?
the big metal.
I hadn't even paid attention to it.
Oh, it's terrible.
Is it new?
No, it was there when you were there.
I've seen it.
In 2009, the security cameras went down around Knoxville when Kiffin left, and while they were down, students tried to tear it down.
Did they really?
Unsuccessfully.
I really ain't pay attention to whatever that statue is.
I don't know. Just anyway, just while we're talking statues.
All right, okay.
College football this weekend is going to be terrific, guys. Absolutely terrific.
Yes.
I'm very excited to watch these 5 games. And I'm going to start on the West Coast. Also, it felt good not to put the Big Ten. It felt good not to put the Big Ten game of the week in here because you cannot pay me to watch Michigan and Iowa.
Is that who it is?
I saw people the other day, I think working for Fox, really great game on Big Noon Saturday. It's Iowa and Michigan. Oh, it's like, guys, I don't care.
We're good.
I'm really okay.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm really okay. Number 5, Washington at UCLA. UCLA's first 4-0 start since 2016.
Wow.
These are 2 of the 3 undefeated teams left in the Pac-12. So after this one, USC and the winner of this game are undefeated going into the next week of the college football season. Dorian Thompson-Robinson has been terrific for UCLA if you haven't watched him play this year. It's more what you expected Chip Kelly to bring back to UCLA other than people who have not been brought back to UCLA because no one goes to their games.
Yeah.
But they're missing a heck of a quarterback playing for them. 896 passing yards, 8 touchdowns to 1 pick. But remember former Tennessee commit Michael Penix Jr. Played for head coach Kalen DeBoer when he was the offensive coordinator at Indiana. Former Tennessee commitment along with Adrian Martinez, who is also still playing, has been since the Reagan administration in the world of college football. But Penix leads the nation in passing yards with 1,388 yards and has yet to be sacked, Ramon Foster, going into week 5.
Way to go.
12-1 touchdown to interception ratio through 4 games. Washington has scored touchdowns on 14 of its 21 first-half possessions and has managed touchdowns on 7 of 8 possessions to open a half so far this season.
Wow.
I think there's a lot of points in this game. I think it's going to be a fun one. It's a little bit of West Coast, Best Coast flavor to start off this week's Friday 5.
He did go to Indy first.
Week
I remember
5.
this. I remember this commit.
Yeah, Michael Penix was the guy that was the backup for Indiana during the Tax Slayer Bowl, which I was down there for. The Jeremy Pruitt onside kick game to beat Indiana, of course, which feels like an eternity ago, by the way, in the history of Tennessee football. Really wasn't that long ago.
It was a good moment right there.
It was. So that's number 5, which to tell you that's number 5 is, I think, a pretty good start.
In fact, it's the West Coast, 9:30. Sheesh.
Number 4, Oklahoma State at Baylor. Again, most weeks, this is number 1. This is a Big 12 rivalry, Ramon, that's going to continue after realignment. I think that's noteworthy because there aren't a lot of rivalries that are classic Big 12 rivalries that are going to continue. You talk about Bedlam. You talk about, Oklahoma State playing Texas, some of the games that Oklahoma and Texas are always a part of. This is one that's going to continue, and it's the 3rd game in less than a calendar year between Oklahoma State and Baylor. Rematch of the Big 12 championship game, 2 teams that also played in the regular season last year. Quarterback Spencer Sanders, a 4-year starter, has thrown 10 touchdowns to only 1 interception in the first 3 games for Mike Gundy's team. But as successful as he's been, this stat was interesting, courtesy of ESPN.com yesterday. His 2 worst games of last season were against Baylor. Had 1 touchdown and 7 interceptions against Dave Aranda's Baylor Bears a season ago, including 4 picks in the 21-16 win for Baylor in the Big 12 title game last year. Only threw 5 interceptions, Ramon, in the other 11 games combined he threw a year ago. Question for me there is, can Spencer Sanders get over the hump against Baylor? Can somebody separate themselves along with Oklahoma and really Kansas State in the Big 12?
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. Baylor quarterback Blake Shapen completed his first 17 passes against Oklahoma State last year, averages just under 200 yards per game, 7 touchdowns to 1 pick. That was a great Big 12 title game last year.
Yeah.
This to me gives you the front runner not named Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Honestly, Baylor, you could probably say it just is the front runner now.
Baylor's favored in this game. They're ranked 16th, and Oklahoma State is ranked 9th.
Yeah.
So
it's a good game.
Yeah. Wow.
So 4 good teams in the Big 12 right now with those 2, with Oklahoma, Kansas State, who I think is legit. Adrian Martinez, going through the renaissance that he's had. Getting away from the chaos of Nebraska and going to Kansas State. So that, to me, is number 4. When we come back, the end of my Friday 5, in 2 games of the SEC, one also on the East Coast that I think are going to be terrific. And I've got a bet for you, Ramon, that I might partake in just a little bit. I might sprinkle. Not a full bet, just a little sprinkle.
Okay.
Piss down my leg.
That's
Sure.
what it sounds like.
On a bet that is plus 570 this weekend. Because I'm putting someone not on upset alert, but just on upset,
Lookout.
upset watch.
That's
It's not a tornado warning, it's a tornado watch.
Okay, all right. You
Whichever
cleared
one
that
is
up.
not as bad.
You cleared that up. That was pretty good. That was
Ramona will, 104.5 The Zone.
Money.
Are you thinking about getting engaged this fall or celebrating a milestone in your relationship? Or maybe just thinking about that home run holiday gift? Genesis Diamonds is all you need then. A rock-solid company focused on taking care of local folks here with outstanding customer service, superior quality merchandise, a mammoth selection, and so much more. Going into the end of the year, Genesis is ready with an even larger selections of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, from a half a carat to 20 carats, hand-picked diamonds. Plus, even more designer jewelry from the world's top designers like Tacori, Verragio, and dozens more that other stores aren't even allowed to carry. And of course, still offering everything at prices the other jewelers just can't touch. The value promise from Genesis is stronger than ever. And especially these days, you need to make sure you're getting the most for your money. And Genesis is the go-to jeweler. No phony pricing, no commission salespeople, and no nonsense. These people are not clerks behind the counter. They are experienced jewelry professionals who are there to guide you, to educate you, to make sure you don't make a mistake, and to make certain you get the treatment and respect you deserve. Hey, and don't forget this, Genesis now has added an amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
At the airport, Murfreesboro Pike, we've got an accident at Donaldson Pike, Hermitage, Tulip Grove Road. Watch for a crash at Central Pike with emergency crews on the scene. And Germantown, Jefferson Street, an accident at Rosa L. Parks Boulevard. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football, 104.5 The Zone.
Join 104.5 The Zone and 3HL as we broadcast live ahead of MTSU versus UTSA's game in Murfreesboro for Titans safety Kevin Byard's jersey retirement night. Want to win tickets to be there? Sign up online, 1045thezone.com/contests today.
That is right. Going to be a cool night in Murfreesboro. Looking forward to seeing the reception for the mayor of Murfreesboro amongst his people, amongst his citizens. Tonight at MTSU. Will Bowling and Bone Foster with you. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen. Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Top 3 games of the weekend, Ramon. My top 2 are within the SEC. Pretty obvious what those are. But number 3 is a really good one. NC State at Clemson.
Yeah.
And my question is, can DJ Uiagalelei continue his renaissance this season for the Tigers? This basically, to me, is the Atlantic title.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Division title. For DJU, 371 yards, 5 touchdowns against Wake Forest. Last year, he went from that preseason Heisman hype to throwing 9 touchdowns and 10 picks over 13 games.
Wow.
It's the first time these schools have ever faced each other, both as top 10 teams. First time that NC State has played in an AP top 10 matchup. They are ranked 10th. Clemson, of course, they've played in 6 of the last 7 ACC championship games, 6 college football playoff appearances. They've won 36 consecutive games at home going back to November of 2016 in a loss to Pittsburgh. NC State, meanwhile, has not won at Clemson since 2002. Really interesting matchup. I think DJ Uiagalelei is one of the surprises of the season. I expected Cade Klubnik to take over as the guy there by this point of the year.
Freshman,
he's not done so.
Yeah. I mean, he's pushing them off. When you win, you have some grace like that, man. NC State being in this position to me is wild, but everybody deserves their day. And right now they're having it. Also having a first-round draft pick last year, too. High first-round draft pick. But it should be a big one, man. Do you think this determines who plays in the championship game, Will, or who is the champion of the ACC?
It will. Of the ACC Atlantic Division.
No,
yes.
I'm just saying in general. The winner of this wins the ACC?
Yeah.
Because they cancel one out as far as the championship
these are the
games,
top
right?
2 teams right now.
There we go.
For sure. So that is going to be a good one down there in Clemson. Top 2 games of the weekend. Number 2, Kentucky at Ole Miss. Yeah. This is a battle between 2 of the best running backs in the SEC, and the other 2 best backs for my number 1 game, which I'll just go ahead and tell you is Alabama, Arkansas. In Fayetteville is my number 1 game of the weekend. But starting with this one, Ole Miss is ranked 4th nationally in rushing offense. They rush for 281 yards per game, Ramon.
Sheesh, I didn't know that.
Kentucky's defense, meanwhile, is allowing just 108 rushing yards per game. Getting a healthy Zach Evans back, important for Ole Miss. But Chris Rodriguez Jr., who is one of the top running backs in the SEC for the Kentucky Wildcats, he will make his debut this season after sitting out the first 4 games due to an NCAA issue. SEC's leading returning rusher, he had just under 1,400 yards a season ago. And Kentucky has not run the football effectively so far this year. They are 123rd nationally with an average of just 81.5 points per game. Will Levis has been sacked 16 times this season. That's not the typical recipe for success that Kentucky has had under Coach Stoops, where they have been bullies up front and everything else has kind of fallen into place. Not necessarily the case with this team. They're very, very stingy on defense. They don't give up a lot of rushing yards, but they haven't been able to get their own ground game going. I think they do in this one. I've got Kentucky winning in this one and pulling away late. I just don't know really anything about Ole Miss. I know who the players are. Like the only real matchup Ole Miss has had was a 42-0 win over Georgia Tech.
Exactly. They beat Troy 28-10, Central Arkansas 59-3, Georgia Tech 42-0, and Tulsa 35-27. Tulsa might be their better opponent that they've had, man. I hate to root for either one of them. I really hope it ends in a tie. But I love to see Lane get his face in the mud. Do it, Kentucky. I'm rolling Kentucky this weekend.
My number 1 game, Arkansas hosting Alabama. I am just a little intrigued, Ramon. An Arkansas money line at plus 550 in this game.
Straight up.
I'm not going to say that Alabama's losing this game, obviously. I think Alabama wins. But I think this one is much closer than a lot of people think. The spread has been up around 17 points in this game. I just really like KJ Jefferson.
I do too.
And Rocket Sanders, to me, him versus Jahmyr Gibbs. You could argue those are the top 2 running backs of the SEC this season. Yeah. Rocket Sanders, SEC's leading rusher so far this year, 508 yards, 6.1 yards per carry. Leads the SEC in rushing yards per game with 127, and all-purpose yards at 625. He's caught 8 passes for 117 yards. Rocket Sanders, Ramon, is the only FBS player with 500-plus rushing yards and 100-plus receiving yards this season. I think he is the dynamic playmaker that we are not talking about nearly enough in this conference right now. And I think they've got some kind of magic to make this game really close.
Yeah, I agree with you, too. And well, I'll say this, looking at Arkansas's schedule, too, the one loss they had was at the hands of KJ Jefferson, too, a little bit. I say that because of the fumble. That was a bad look. But I expect him to kind of bounce back, though.
I did, too.
I expect him to bounce back. If he wants to be in that first-round conversation, he bounces back this week. But it's Alabama. Yeah. Got to give them their respect, man. Well, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat well. And this is, to me, definitely a top 10 matchup.
Environment's going to be incredible. KJ Jefferson is one of 3 quarterbacks to throw for 900-plus and run for 200-plus this season.
Solid.
Alabama's won 14 straight over Arkansas. They lead the all-time series 22-8. And Nick Saban is 18-2 in his career against Arkansas, undefeated at Alabama. Something about this game, man. I feel like if Arkansas had beaten A&M, I would have a different feeling about it. I just don't think Arkansas is going to disappoint 2 weeks in a row.
No.
And the way they lose that game to A&M, the freak fumble in the red zone, the field goal that hits the top of the upright. Sam Pittman is as good a coach in this league as there is right now. I think they've got something for Alabama in this game. So
Bama's favored by 17 on the road.
Yep. It's disrespectful. Honestly, it's disrespectful. It's true. Like, I understand it, but it's disrespectful.
Very.
Coming up, we reset the NFL headlines, a recap of a wild night in Cincinnati on Thursday Night Football. Take a look back at the Titans injury report going into one final day of practice as we get the injury designations this afternoon. Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, joins us in hour number 3. Halftime of the show. Start of the third quarter next on Ramon and Will.
Summer's over, but that joint pain is still there, and it's time to do something about it. Finally, okay? It's Ramon Foster, and I want you to call QC Kinetics now. You've put it off long enough, and it's time to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees and back and shoulder and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they're living life to the fullest, pain-free. So don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways to. Call QC Kinetics today. Stop putting it off. Call for a free consultation at 615-249-4024. Again, 615-249-4024.
8:01, good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. Thursday night football, Bengals over the Dolphins 27-15. The biggest story coming from the game, however, Tua's injury. It led him to being stretchered off the field and taken to a nearby hospital. Coach Mike McDaniel said the QB suffered a concussion. Coming up Sunday, Titans at Colts, a big-time divisional matchup. Noon kickoff for that. Mike Keith and Coach Dave McGinnis will have the call courtesy of Titans Radio. Mike Keith will join us in approximately 20 minutes on Ramon and Will. College football tonight, UTSA at MTSU. The Blue Raiders coming off their big win over the University of Miami. 6:30 will be the kickoff tonight. Kevin Byard will have his jersey retirement this evening at Murphy Stadium as well. Coming up tomorrow, number 9, Oklahoma State at number 16, Baylor. Coverage begins at 2 o'clock. You can hear it right here on The Zone, followed by LSU at Auburn. High school football tonight, which you can also hear on The Zone. Oakland at Blackman, pregame at 6:45. And the Mets are at the Braves, 6:20 first pitch this evening, first game of a 3-game set that could essentially decide the NL East title. For all foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your Over the Titans and Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Back up for another hour of Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors at 104.5 The Zone. I want you to put the word out there that we back up for 2 more hours in your week. It's Friday, and we plan on acting like it. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer makes the show happen.
Yeah, he does.
The best producer in the world.
Will Bowling here
That's
with
our
you.
guy, man.
Schaefer has not missed an opportunity to play that drop since he came back from
The
IR.
best producer in the world.
He deserves it.
Sure
Name a better producer.
I mean, any opportunity is me just playing it whenever I want.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. As is your right.
Well, you keep saying that and going back at Shafe. I feel like me and Shafe gonna have to meet you in this back alley.
What do you mean? No, I'm giving him.
just
I'm
saying,
giving him the space.
You say it with a question mark, Will.
I hate it here.
Yeah, Shafe.
Yeah, take the surprise out of your voice.
See, there we go.
We really need the drop of Candace Parker going. Take the surprise out your voice, Shaq. Take the surprise out your voice. The GOAT. The word GOAT is overused. Candace Parker is the GOAT.
She's one of them. She's a baby goat.
She's lovely.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Absolutely.
CP3.
I tell people that's like the best compliment I can give a woman. Like,
That's
she's just lovely.
Oh, I was about to say, Will, don't get on the bad side on a Friday, man. I thought you were about to go down a dark path.
Oh, no,
right
I'm
here,
just saying
man.
someone's lovely.
Hey, I was
a
about
good
to
thing.
say, don't do that today, Will. We're trying
Okay.
to grow your brand, not kill it. What the hell's going on here?
Teddy Bridgewater, the Dolphins last night, almost able to come back with QB2 in the game to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The pick by Von Bell on the last possession for Miami, next to last possession for Miami. Thought this was interesting last night, Ramon, that Teddy Bridgewater's 64-yard pass to Tyreek Hill traveled 61.4 yards in the air. That is the longest completion of the season.
Sheesh.
A catch probability of 29.7%.
Golly, that's Teddy Bridgewater threw that last?
Yeah.
Man, shout out to Teddy. Just keep running it up, man. By the way, I see why they pay for a guy like Tariq, though. You see it. He's such a headache.
He's so good, man.
He's such a headache, man. In all facets of the game when he's on the field. They put him at kick return, right? On punt return. He feels the ball, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm about to kill him. He fair catches on the sideline and just taps the Cincinnati Bengal player on his helmet. I'm like, dude, you ain't like, did you really have to do this?
And the crazy thing, too, is that with guys that are that little and quick,
Yeah.
I imagine as a defender, you want even more so to just crush them.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you're playing the Madden video game or NCAA and somebody's scrambling with their quarterback and your fingers ready on the hit stick button. Just ready to go. And you just whiff.
Yep.
That's defenders against Tyreek Hill.
And watching those Davenport last night, or it was Hendrickson, one or the other, man. It was the end around that Tariq had. Think about Tariq. Tariq, no, he's not a big guy, right? So who was it, Hendrickson?
Yeah,
or
it was.
It was
I think
Hendrickson.
it was
He
Hendrickson.
goes up to just kill Tariq. Tariq folds and falls to the ground.
Yeet.
You can't even hit him hard. Like, he's smart about getting down on the ground, and he's so quick. There's like, well, you lucky you got me right here.
So I may be giving away a topic too soon for 8:05 this morning, but I'm going to ask the question anyway because this question was posed to be my last night, but one of my buddies I was watching the game with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got friends outside of work?
A couple.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
I was hanging out with both my friends outside of work, And the question was posed to me, would you rather start a franchise right now with Tyreek Hill or Aaron Donald?
Oh, I can answer that real quick.
Really?
Yep. Right now,
Really?
Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Too big, too much of a weapon.
I said Aaron Donald.
You said AD?
I did.
Too much of a weapon.
Aaron Donald's like my favorite player in the NFL.
You
I
can
think he's
also
just absolutely terrific.
you can run away from him. You can create so much more for an offensive player than you can for a defensive player. Like other than what Dallas is doing for Micah Parsons,
Right.
like if you just said Micah Parsons, I'd have had to really think about that one. But for a defensive lineman, no. I'm running away from him. I'm double teaming him. We see that happen all the time.
Yeah.
You can't go to sleep on Aaron Donald. But as far as Tyreek goes, I'm watching it. I'm thinking to myself, man, he's probably running 12 miles a game because they're putting him in motion so much. Like he's moving around. And the thing about him, the way he's designed, his genetic makeup, it's just like he just goes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something dirty about their job. His is he probably doesn't like hitting people or getting hit. But running for him, flawless. Give me Tyreek.
I'm surprised.
9 out of 10.
I'm
Yes.
surprised as a trenches guy, you would say you'd rather start a team with Tyreek Hill than Aaron Donald.
Offensively, I need the points. Defensively,
Yeah.
they got to come off plays.
I just feel like Aaron Donald makes you so much better at literally every single position.
Well, state your case then. Somebody in the chat just said, who was it? Brandon said there's no wrong answer. No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's no wrong answer, but state your case on why AD.
Aaron Donald makes more players around him on that defense better than I think Tyreek Hill covers up issues you might still have on offense. Like if you play coverage and keep two safeties back and bracket coverage and keep everything in front of you, it's been shown before that you can kind of slow down Tyreek Hill a little bit just based on the other weapons around you. If the running game isn't as dangerous for Kansas City or wasn't as dangerous in the past for Kansas City, you could just focus on Tyreek Hill, keep the two safeties back and just keep everything in front of you.
Yeah.
I think
fair.
Aaron Donald makes every single member of the front seven better, which then in turn makes all those defensive backs so much better. That dude, I think, I don't have the stat in front of me, but beats more double teams. That is double teamed more than anybody else in football. And it's like, it is not even close.
Yeah. Man, just in general, though, you're not wrong. Like, again, there is no wrong answer when it comes down to saying who's going to do what. I just think the way football's played right now, you have to kind of focus on what the offense can bring to you. And Tyreek can score points. And the same things you're saying about Aaron Donald is the same thing I say about Tyreek Hill. He frees up everybody else because you got to devote either your best to him or two guys to really like shut him down and focus on him. And don't let him get into open space.
Right.
Like watching him run on the sideline, it's just like he gets around defenders' reach and gets you an extra 7 yards on drives. Like he constantly does that week in and week out. And the amount of quickness that he has. Like who's playing like that right now in football?
Oof, there's not many guys.
With that amount of quickness.
Not many guys at all.
It's just way too, like, it's any instance, Will, it's a touchdown. Or a big play. Like, legitimately, I was hating that they were criticizing Tua's arm. I was like, oh, he really does have the noodle arm a little bit. But it was a few of those plays. If it wasn't for Von Bell on that one interception, if Tua could have led Tyreek.
Touchdown.
It's a tutty all day.
And Teddy Bridgewater led him.
Yeah, see the difference?
Man, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle together is the kind of duo I did not know was going to be this dangerous.
I didn't know Waddle was going to show up like this.
I didn't either.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a special 1-2 punch. That's up there with the best 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position in the league right now.
Yeah, Devontae and AJ, Waddle and Tyreek.
Yep.
Who else do we have out there then? Oh, Cooper Kupp. No.
Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp. Thielen and Jefferson. Certainly up there.
Yeah, Allen Robinson.
I think
Cooper
it's probably
Kupp.
Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. Is probably the best 1-2 punch when healthy.
Okay.
But I would honestly say that Tyreek and Waddle are probably second for me right now.
100%. They're up there.
Based on talent, Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp should be the best.
What is Allen?
Just hasn't clicked
Allen
yet.
Robinson's having a year. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Hasn't clicked yet
he's
for
not
him.
necessarily having a year that you need for him to be in that conversation, but he has every tool that you need to be a top two. And again, what is the Rams ended up getting hot late last year anyway.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right. No doubt about it. Traylon Burks, an important part of the Titans' 1-2 punch this weekend in Indianapolis, did not practice Wednesday, was back on the practice field yesterday, a full participant as we take a look at the Titans injury report. Bud Dupree, who was a full participant Wednesday, limited Thursday. Not a huge concern there, maybe. If you're full on Wednesday, unless something else pops up that's unexpected, you're in a good spot. Amani Hooker with a concussion did not practice for the second straight day. That's a concern, Ramon, because I don't know who steps into that position. We can ask Mike Keith about that in a couple minutes and say, who's the guy if Amani Hooker can't go?
Confidently, nobody at this point right now. Today is Friday dress rehearsal, basically. If Armani is either not passing that concussion test, considering what Miami had going on last night, I think that probably puts everybody on high alert with the way that played out for Miami and Tua. You got to look at Armani's situation, the plays he's made and almost have made throughout this early portion of the season, and say, yeah, there is a level of concern for this. You know, he's a guy that you need. Today is the day that he has to prove that he's able to go with his motions, with his eyes, with the concussion symptoms being all the way at 0 before you clear him. I'd be shocked if they pass him tomorrow.
Yeah, I do too.
If he doesn't pass today, because he's got to get out on the field and move around a little bit too.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Austin Hooper in a yellow non-contact jersey yesterday, as was Ola Adeni and Kyle Phillips. Christian Fulton, the full participant. Zach Cunningham misses practice for the second straight day. I want to get Mike Keith's thoughts as well on Joe Schobert, what he brings to the inside linebacker room for this Titans team. Coming up in a couple of minutes. Ugo Amadi, unavailable, did not practice again Thursday with an ankle injury. Nate Davis, not practicing at all. I think I'm probably a little more concerned about that one than you are, just based on the nature of how important he's been to the offensive line this year.
And who he's got to see Sunday.
Exactly. And Cody Hollister, the other guy who did not practice yesterday for the Titans. For the Colts, Julian Blackman with an ankle did not practice, nor did DeForest Buckner with an elbow injury. That's a big deal.
That's iffy
at this point. Stephon Gilmore, Ryan Kelly, and Ike Ngakwe, Jonathan Taylor, full participants yesterday. Jonathan Taylor will be a full go, no doubt.
Bernhard Raymond, their tackle, is also limited.
Yep, Central Michigan guy.
Got to get work on him, man.
And Adengbo, the defensive end. Shaq Leonard practicing in full for the second straight day. And when we come back, we get Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith's thoughts on the biggest matchup problem the Indianapolis Colts present to the Tennessee Titans and what the atmosphere will be like tomorrow in Lucas Oil Stadium from his perspective way up in the roof in Lucas Oil Stadium. Because tomorrow, Indianapolis ain't got no roof.
They don't.
And we do not care. But Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, talks Titans and Colts with us. Coming up next, Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone.
The Indianapolis Colts.
It's football season, and Window Nation is your halftime show. Hey, it's Ramon Foster, and you can score new windows from Window Nation for half the price. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Plus, you will pay nothing with no interest until 2025. You can lower your energy bills and raise the value of your home with new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. And if you're not sure if you need new windows, here are a few pro tips. If they are sticking or drafty or cracked, if they're hard to open or locking when they close, then you need new windows. And are your windows leaking? Leaky windows can cause serious structural damage and allow for mold to grow in your home, often undetected. Choose the company with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. The company has installed over 1 million windows and has over 1,500 custom vinyl window combinations available. That's Window Nation, where you can buy 2 windows and get 2 free windows on any style from Window Nation. There's no limit. You make no payments. There's no down payment, and you pay nothing with no interest until 2025. So call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Again, 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
It's Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here on 104.5 The Zone. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen. Will Bowling and Ramon Foster with you as we talk Titans and Colts coming up Sunday from Lucas Oil Stadium. With Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better rates, better coverage, and better service. That's why Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau Health Plans for their health coverage for 75 years. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Mike, in your eyes, what is the biggest matchup problem for the Titans against the Indianapolis Colts?
Let's say matchup opportunity. I'm going to go with that. How
Sure.
about that? That's stopping Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, here's the thing that's really interesting. So, Jonathan Taylor has played against the Titans 3 times in his career. He missed 1 game due to COVID protocols. He's only carried 33 times in the 3 games. The most that he has carried in any one game is 16 times. What would you bet that he might have 16 carries at halftime on Sunday? Because if I'm no coach, but here's what I am. I'm a pragmatic person, and I got to figure if I have a guy who went for over 1,800 yards last year, and I'm having a really hard time protecting my quarterback for whatever reason that is, I'm thinking we're playing against the team that gave up over 200 yards rushing in the first game and has had a hard time stopping the rush in the other 2 games. I'm thinking, you know what I may do? I may just line up and hand him the ball a whole lot. So that's the challenge, the opportunity that I think the Titans are going to have Sunday. I think they're going to get a big opportunity.
There you go.
To stop Jonathan Taylor.
Sure.
And that's where we are right now, too, Mike. Just, coming to realize that the Titans are giving up, 5.8 per rush. I didn't realize the Titans right now, 32nd in rush defense. What's got to be changed in there, or is it just opportunity of the flow of the games that's kind of allowed this to happen?
I think it's about fit.
Okay.
And I think if you played football at any level, this concept makes sense to you. You can't run around blocks. You can't take bad angles. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing with the fit thing is that you can't, even if you're not going to make the play, you can't get out of your lane. You can't try to be spectacular. And that's what guys do. When things get sort of desperate in those circumstances, and what the Titans have always done well is they've always had guys who said, okay, I buy in. I understand that if I stay in my gap, if I turn the play back in, if I take the right angle, if I fill the right way, they're not going to be able to run the football on us. But you get in situations where you have personnel grouping issues, you have communications issues, you have one guy run around a block and open something up, which there's a bounce lane, or you miss a tackle. That's another part of it. Mm-hmm. The Titans, I thought, tackled much better the other day. But listen, there were some holes for Josh Jacobs. He carried, 13 times for 66 yards? Mm-hmm. And there were some people wondering on television, why don't you just feed him more in the second half? I think you have to feel like that's what's coming. So the Titans have to have everything buttoned up. They have the people to do it. They just have to find a way to get that done.
Another thing that has to get done, too, is get after Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, though, I don't think you can have the mentality to go into this game and say, hey, everybody else has done it, and so will we. We know he's fumbled the ball 7 times. We know, I think they're top 3 as far as sacks given up, Mike. But if you could speak about just the poise in which they got to play with to not overdo this attack on Matt Ryan this weekend.
Well, and you're 100% right. And here's where it starts. It starts with stopping the run game.
Okay.
Because if you do that, then you've got a chance to put them in predictable down and distance situations. Then you've got a shot to pin your ears back and go get the guy. But if you're going to play the game where you sit here and think, okay, we're storming the castle from the minute we get off the bus to go get him, he's a smart guy. They're going to have some answers for that because they have to know some of that's coming. And you will try that some. because you will have some opportunities to go and get him. But it's the same premise as stopping the run. You've got to play disciplined football on defense every single snap. If you do, you're going to have a chance to get after him. And he will give it up because he can't get away the way he once could. You know, he's a little bit like where Phillip Rivers was for them a couple years ago. He's not as mobile as he once was. And so those opportunities are there if you play with the discipline. It's like if you do the work, the reward will be there at the end. But that's what it's going to come down to. And I think that's had to be the message all week in the Titans meeting rooms defensively. It's like, look, we've got to put in the work. They did it last week on offense with the 11 men all in with the running game, and the running game got better. That's what they have to have with the defense, and they're probably going to have to do it with a couple of spare parts coming in to jump in immediately and help them with that, which makes it more of a challenge.
Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, with us this morning, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Mike, that's been the key we've discussed all week, is that in the loss to Jacksonville, the Colts averaged 3.5 yards per play on first down, and we're 0 for 7 on third downs of 6 or more yards. It seems like that early down success helping this Titans defense that's been so good on third downs this season is really, to me, the biggest strength this defense has had so far this season, right?
Yeah, one of the stats, for the Titans that has to improve is they have not been good enough on first down offensively, and they've not been good enough on first down defensively. When they have gotten people into third down situations, they have gotten off the field because they've been successful, but they got to get them there. And that's a lot of what it comes down to is they've got to put themselves in those positions where they can get them to third down as much as possible and then be able to figure out ways to get off the field. The fourth down thing is another part of it. I know they're 8 for 35 on fourth down, but they've allowed, third down, they're 8 for 35, but they've allowed 6 fourth down conversions. And so that's almost as if you add those back into the third downs. Whatever down it is, the Titans have to figure out a way to get off the field.
As far as staying on the field, though, like you said, the game last weekend, there was intent on Derek being involved. And from there, we all saw everything else open up. This battle of the running backs this weekend, Mike, just how are you ready to call this against these two guys?
Well, I mean, you look at these two guys, they're the two Triple Crown winners in the last 2 years. They led the league in 2020 and 21, respectively, in rushing, yardage, and touchdowns. So they're the studs. This is one of the few times in NFL history that we've seen the running back Triple Crown winners go head-to-head in a game. So it's an intriguing matchup in that way. The Colts have been much better at stopping the run than the Titans have. They're giving up only 77 yards per game. I will say this, however. They have not gone against a rushing attack like the Titans in their first 3 games. Right. They have not gone against a team as determined to run the ball as what the Titans are. Houston, Jacksonville, and Kansas City, all 3, they don't like to run it like Tennessee does. They don't have the commitment. So you've got to have the stay with it because it's going to be hard. You understand that. And I think the other part of it, too, is you've got to find ways to get him the ball in different areas like you did last week. I thought that plan was brilliant. And when I talk about his numbers last week, I don't talk about 20 for 85, his rushing numbers. I talk about 25 for 143, his touches and his overall numbers. Because early in the season, it's oftentimes hard to get a back going. Teams are fresher. They've game planned better. They're not worn down from the season. So 20 for 85 is just fine, but finding him those other touches and those other opportunities, that's a great thing. I want the ball in 22's hands. He's your best player. Find ways to put the ball in his hands. I thought they did a great job with that. I hope it continues.
Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, with us. Defensively, Amani Hooker battling injury this week with a concussion. Did not practice again yesterday. Who possibly steps into that role if he can't go Sunday?
That's a great question because I think a lot of that has to do with scheme and how you see whomever they have on the roster being that person. I mean, before the season, you'd have said A.J. Moore, right? I mean, A.J. Moore would have been the choice. That's why you brought him in, to be a backup safety. He's not available. So I think they may have to rotate folks. I think they may have to rotate packages. But here's where you lose big with Hooker. First of all, Hooker's a really good player. He's also a real good run defender, good tackler. You lose big not having him in the lineup. You know, that's a huge deal. And if you don't have Hooker and Cunningham, you lose two guys who are always around the football. So you're having to patch. And I'm not exactly sure, you know, how you go about that. I think you're probably going to have to run some sort of rotation, and the Titans will probably have to play multiple defensive backs anyway. But, you know, they've played 3 corners and 3 safeties. They've played 4 corners and 2 safeties. You know, they've run it around a lot of different ways, and I'm not sure exactly how that look is going to end up being.
Well, Mike, on a positive front in the defensive backfield, I know Mike Vrabel said on his show with you all this week, he thought this might have been Christian Fulton's best performance in a Titans uniform in stopping Devontae Adams and slowing him down the way the Titans did on Sunday. How impressed were you with the way he played coming off of injury?
He battled. That's the whole thing, is he battled. And if you're doing that, you're giving yourself a chance. You know, that's what Kevin Byard does as well as anybody on this football team. It has for years. I mean, you even think about the touchdown pass that Adams caught, which was a super catch. Yeah. There's Byard battling with him right there in the end zone. Fine. Give me that, right? Give me that sort of effort. Give me that sort of push, that sort of type of just aggression to get after the other team, because you always give yourself a chance in those moments. You're going to lose some. NFL quarterbacks complete 64% of their passes. Fine. But you're going to knock somebody loose. You're going to knock a ball out on a 3rd down. Something good's going to happen when you play with that sort of aggression, and that's what I saw from Christian Fulton. I saw that Kevin Byard type of aggression in that ball game. Good stuff from him.
Somebody we need some good stuff from, Mike, man, is Caleb Farley. I'm not sure if it's him that's getting the green light or Roger McCreary on the outside. Where are we at with that dynamic of Caleb versus Roger at this point? Because there has to be an answer, you know, considering what happened last week, even though the Titans won, you know, despite the deep passes to, what was it, Hobbs or Hollins?
Hollins.
Matt Collins. Yeah, he beat Mitchell, and, you know, he had size on Mitchell. Listen, this group, it's not Caleb or Roger. It needs to be Caleb and Roger. They need to be able to have both of those guys on the field, especially with their situation right now lacking nickels. Roger's going to have to line up in some different spots, and so there's opportunities for somebody on the outside. This team gets a lot better if Caleb Farley takes off. But again, it's just about cutting it loose, playing with that sort of aggression. And if you get beat, fine. But get beat aggressively. Don't be hesitant. Have confidence. Use the gifts the good Lord gave you, which is 6'2", 200 pounds, long arms, and 4'2" speed, 4.25 speed, whatever it is. Just cut it loose. And if you do that, you know, you can take any mistake anybody makes. I mean, Roger McCreary has been excellent since the start. He's given up completions. You know, he got a penalty. I mean, okay, fine. But just cut it loose. I think that's the biggest thing that they're looking for from anybody playing back there. And, you know, that's what Hooker does too, which is why if you don't have him, that's a big loss. And again, back to the point we made about Fulton. That was what you saw from Fulton in the ball game the other day.
Another guy they're without is Taylor right now. But this group banded together last week as far as this OL. How are you looking forward to evaluating them against this interdivisional opponent with the Colts?
I think the nice thing for Dennis Daly right now, Ramon, is that he is the left tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, he's the left tackle. The Lewan conversation is understandable, but it's really a moot point now because he's gone.
Right.
And Taylor Lewan is no longer the Titans' left tackle. It's Dennis Daly. And I think for Dennis, knowing that now, it changes his confidence and his overall preparation and his level of expectation of himself, is that he knows he's playing. So every practice, every meeting, everything he's doing, he's honed in on having that job because he's the guy. And I think that gives him the advantage, and that gives the offensive line the advantage of stability. They would be better with Taylor Lewan. We all know that. He's a top-tier offensive lineman, but he's gone, and he's not coming back. And so now you're in the situation where it's Dennis Daly, and I think we saw him settle in last week. And again, I've used this term too much, but he really battled. When I watched the tape back, I was impressed. I was impressed with the way he got after it. He doesn't have the gifts that Taylor does, but he's certainly a capable NFL player. You don't play at South Carolina. You don't play for the Carolina Panthers unless you can do it. And he did a nice job. And I thought that, they helped him, and he handled things well on himself. Good job. That was a pro effort by Keith Carter, the staff, and those guys.
Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, has been our guest, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better rates, better coverage, and better service. That's why Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau Health Plans for their health coverage for 75 years. Always good stuff, Mike. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Thanks very much.
Yes, sir. There is Voice of the Titans. You can hear him right here on Titans Radio on 104.5 The Zone. Titans Countdown beginning at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Looking forward to that. And I want to go back to his comments about Amani Hooker when we come back, Ramon, because I think there is schematically some interesting things you're going to have to do without him that I hadn't really thought about in the run game. That is of particular importance for the Titans this weekend in playing Jonathan Taylor. We'll do that coming up next. It's Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons, 104.5 The Zone.
First of all, Hooker's a really good player. He's also a real good run defender, good tackler. You lose big not having him in the lineup. That's a huge deal. And if you don't have Hooker and Cunningham, you lose two guys who are always around the football. So you're having to patch. And I'm not exactly sure, how you go about that.
There is Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, with us just a moment ago, talking about what the Titans do if Amani Hooker is unable to go on Sunday and the different schemes that they have to come up with in order to make up for losing one of their top safeties, one of their top defensive players, certainly coming up in Indianapolis. As Charles Barkley said in those commercials. It's Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons.
The Indianapolis Colts.
On 104.5 The Zone. That's what I was waiting for.
That's
as
what
well,
I was
right there.
looking for also.
Will Bowling and Ramon Foster with you. I didn't think about that, I'll be honest, the effect that Amani Hooker has stopping the run.
Yep.
And you've got issues at corner as well, and specifically at nickel, where you're really moving an outside corner into your nickel spot. Now, Roger McCreary has been terrific in just making open field tackles and making that next play.
Yeah.
He's tied with Kevin Byard for the team lead in tackles at this point with 23, which is second among all rookies. As you know, Ramon, that's not often a good thing when one of your cornerbacks leads you in tackles.
This is true.
But that's the situation the Titans are in right now. And without Cunningham and Hooker, potentially, you've got Joe Schobert and probably, I still don't know who gets the start for the Titans at safety.
Neither do I. And I'd love to say that's a huge problem, but I feel like there would be a nice answer because of who the Titans choose to bring in. There's always a guy that you don't know about that's going to make a play for you. But to have Mike tell us, Amani Hooker and Zach Cunningham are guys that you need and don't know if you're going to have this weekend. It's 2 missed practices for Zach, right? And we saw him leave the game last weekend.
Elbow.
If for anything, like you got to kind of say to yourself, you're down a little bit. And also recognizing this Titans defense is 32nd versus the run right now. Now, I know you went through a trench monster when it comes to Saquon just having a week that he did. But this is the issue, though. When it comes down to this run game and defending the run, it actually starts up front for these guys. I don't know what's the conversation around them, so I won't even assume what's the conversation around why they are playing the way they do or what technique they're deciding to play with. What I will say is this. If your goal, now this is me assuming on my part on what I've seen, what D linemen do, not this one. If they are focused on just getting to the quarterback, everybody's going to run through you then. Where's your awareness around the ball? This, to me, ain't a linebacker and DB type of situation. Amani's probably tired of tackling those running backs or anybody else that's rushing the ball against this Titans defense. This is a technical situation which can be easily addressed when you're a true pro and they have some true pros up front.
You've seen a lot of Joe Schobert of the AFC North.
I have.
He was a teammate of yours.
Well, no, I didn't play with him.
Okay.
I watched him.
He was
play.
a year after.
He was a year
after.
after.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe Schobert.
But in Cleveland, what does he bring? What is his skill set that he now pushes into this inside linebacker group?
A side-to-side tackler.
Okay.
If you're looking for the downhill guy, that's not him right now. Now, he's older. It's probably still not him, okay? But he's a guy that can defend the pass pretty well. He's good side to side. We saw him make plays where he can dip underneath guys and get to the running back. As far as fitting the gap, he's going to try to jam and get off as quick as he possibly can. Pass defense, that's where he flourishes at, okay? He's around the ball. If the ball is side to side, he's good to go. Up and down, man, I'm waiting to see how he responds this week because I do feel like Indy is going to try to make sure they leave out of that stadium saying, we got the best back in the league. So watching him hit the gap this week is going to be crucial for Joe Schobert. He's an athlete. Coach Tomlin spoke very, very highly upon what he was doing in Cleveland when we played against him in years past.
It's interesting. Mike Keith mentions the stat we brought up earlier this week that the most carries Jonathan Taylor has had in a game against the Titans was 16. And that was last season. And there were still fans. I was at that game in Lucas Oil Stadium last year on Halloween. There were still fans around us who were looking around at us being like, why don't they just give him the ball more? And that was the most touches that he had against the Titans on the ground.
Yep.
This, to me, feels like a very clear statement of intent for Indianapolis to say, you know exactly where we're going to run it. Try and stop us.
Yep. And again, if those guys up front don't simmer down just a little bit as far as stopping the run or controlling the line of scrimmage, it's one thing to beat your guy. If it's one thing, man, I'm going to punch you in the face.
But don't get quite upfield as much.
But you're hurting your team when you do those things.
So does this start with Jeffrey Simmons?
Yeah.
So you want
Let's
Jeffrey
just be real
Simmons to
about
change
that.
his mentality a little bit Sunday?
Well, you just got to tweak it.
Okay.
You can do both. Like, you can pick spots on where you're going to go get after the quarterback.
Sure.
And maybe it's just a philosophy of what Todd down. I mean, Shane Bowen is coaching up, too, like up the field. But you don't have the linebacker support right now to back you up when you tell your defensive lineman to do that. You either have two gappers as far as the defensive line goes, where guys hold the point against the offensive line, or you have penetrating defenders. Hainsworth, penetrating defender.
Right.
Okay? Like, that's who they are. You look at a guy that I know, Cam Hayward, two-gapper. Aaron Donald, penetrator.
Yep.
But you better have backers behind you that can support your guys disrupting the backfield, because all it takes is one sidestep by Jonathan Taylor or Saquon Barkley, and you got 7 yards on the run.
And it's curtains. I mean, he could take it the whole way. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think the Titans are certainly not as well equipped to play from behind on the road in Indianapolis like they were last year as well.
That's fair.
Getting down 2 scores really early in that game. They intercept Carson Wentz. They throw a deep bomb to A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that explosive play eraser to overcome mistakes they're making on offense right now, because that guy just hasn't stepped up in this offense yet. So we'll see what happens Sunday. Coming up, we continue the conversation. 4's up for the final hour of the week as we talk with former Titans wide receiver Nate Washington at 9:20, resetting the headlines, getting you ready for the football weekend. 60 more fast minutes up next on 104.5 The Zone.
As leaders in disaster cleanup and restoration, the pros at ServPro are prepared for anything, such as the relief valve on your water heater failing, pouring gallons of water into your finished basement, or an electrical shortage in your office that causes extensive smoke, fire, and water damage, or a musty odor indicating you might have a mold problem. You need a lot more than help sometimes cleaning up, and that's when you contact ServPro. They have the equipment and expertise to clean up damage from fire, water, or mold, but they also offer a variety of construction services ranging from drywall patching and document drawing all the way to complete structural rebuilds. ServPro is the call to make to bring your home or business back as good as new and as soon as possible. So call the official ServPro downtown Nashville operators at 800 ServPro to see how they can help you get back to like it never even happened. ServPro, cleaning, restoration, construction, and franchises are independently owned and operated.
It is straight up 9 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. As just mentioned, coming up Sunday, big-time divisional matchup early in the season. Titans at the Colts. Noon kickoff. Mike Keith, Coach Dave McGinnis will have the call courtesy of Titans Radio. How about college football tonight at Floyd Stadium? UTSA at MTSU. 6:30 will be the kick for that. Kevin Byard, Jersey retirement night. Also, 3HL will be broadcasting live from MTSU this afternoon. Coming up tomorrow, number 9 Oklahoma State at number 16 Baylor. Coverage begins at 2 o'clock right here on The Zone, followed by LSU at Auburn. Tonight in high school football, Oakland at Blackman pregame at 6:45. And the Mets are at the Braves this evening. 6:20 will be the first pitch. It is the first game of a 3-game set that could go a long way to deciding the NL East title. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your Over the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour, fourth and final quarter of the Friday edition. Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors of 104.5 The Zone. It's Friday and we're acting like it for 60 more minutes right here on your radio dial alongside 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, the best producer in the world, pushing the buttons behind the glass.
The best producer in the world.
He goes by the name of Jonathan Schaefer. My name is Will Bowling. Some breaking news in the National Football League. Jameis Winston, doubtful in the Londoner Sunday morning as the Saints take on the Minnesota Vikings in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Andy Dalton expected to start against the Vikings on Sunday.
Man, ain't nothing but Jameis getting some fish and chips and crab legs over there. That's all that's going on.
That's right. Jonathan Schaefer, they'll be playing in the stadium of the smallest club in London, Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, wow. We're going to do that, huh? We're going to do that.
Is that your
Schaefer
team?
and I have a little rivalry going on Saturday morning.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
All right.
That's right.
Yep. Okay.
That's right. So, little Arsenal Tottenham bragging rights up for grabs between Schaefer and I this weekend.
I was trying to decide on if I was going to start Jameis this weekend. Guess not now.
Not. Michael Thomas also out. So, check your fantasy lineups accordingly, people.
Sheesh.
Somebody, Eric on 104.5 The Zone TV on YouTube says fish and chips and crab legs. For Jameis Winston this week.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. James, they're in London, though?
Yep.
Nice.
So we've got a full Sunday slate of football. That always is a little bit jarring because I always am excited about the London game because you get to start the NFL Sunday a little bit earlier. But then the problem is the main window of games isn't as fun because there's one less crazy ending going on.
Yeah.
Because the London game happened before.
Yeah. Either way, you're going to consume this.
Oh, of course.
You're an NFL fan, right? Like you're going to
What time is the game?
This.
8:30.
8:30 Central?
I'm not watching it.
8:30
You're not
a.m.
watching?
Sunday morning.
Okay.
I'll be in.
Maybe.
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 It's an early wake-up call tomorrow
I don't know if
soccer.
I'm odd or if this is normal, which that can go in a lot of different directions. I'm not a person that can watch just a random game. Not really my thing. Unless I've got some money on it,
See, we're different
then I can
than
do it. But I'm not just a watch a random game guy. I really never have been.
The ones that I will do, there are 3 sports where I will sit down and watch a random game. Look, good Lord. There are 3 sports where I'll sit down and watch a neutral game. NFL is number 1 by far. I like to sit down and watch every NFL game. I am the biggest NFL Red Zone fan in the world. It's my favorite television
if it's like
channel.
Cardinals, Raiders.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
care.
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Second is college
don't
football. Good luck. I enjoy a good neutral college football game. The third one, actually, and you'll laugh at me, I will sit down and watch a neutral soccer game of English soccer more than I do any other sport.
That one I can do.
Exactly.
Really?
And I can't explain it.
It's because it's the shortest sporting event.
That's probably it. Because it's
the
2 hours
shortest-
and you're done.
It's an hour 45. You know exactly how long of time you're committing towards. It's a very easy sport to watch, by the way, as far as like you got football on and you're like turning back and forth in commercials because you know there's a 0% chance there's a commercial except for a 15-minute span in the middle of it, which that makes it nice. Those are the 3 sports. I don't watch NBA at all. I can't really do like neutral college basketball as much. I don't really know why.
Let me refine what I said just a little bit.
Sure.
I can turn a random game on, but I'm probably not going to pay attention to it. Like I'll be working on my laptop or doing chores or something like that, and it'll just be on in the background. To sit down and just watch a random game, I can't do that.
But you can do that with soccer.
Even soccer, I'm probably running around and having that on as the background.
I was about to say.
I am more likely to watch the soccer game than I am a random whatever else game.
Really?
But not really random game.
Like you guys know I'm as big a baseball fan as I am of any other sport, but I just sit down and watch the Braves. Like I'm not really incentivized to watch Cardinals play the Rays.
But over the course of this college football season, if I see some value and put a little money on it, courtesy of BetMGM, thank you, plug, then I'm more likely to watch a random game because then I have some kind of stake in it.
Well,
so that's where betting has actually caused me to watch random events more often and longer.
100%.
Baseball, I can watch MLB. I'm very interested in like baseball right now. Of course, my kids play, but like I enjoy what baseball is.
It's the best sport.
Well, I don't go that far. Football is, but I can watch a random football game also. Baseball and football, I can like randomly watch games of it, especially if I got the time and I'm chilling. Both of those, like soccer, no dice.
Yeah.
Can't.
We'll get you to come around.
But you don't even have to really watch soccer though.
Nashville SC back this weekend, by the way.
Okay.
In Geodis Park.
Yeah, the only problem is it's Sunday night.
Sunday night. I'll be there.
Night.
Well, you will be. I'll be in bed.
It's the last home game. Houston Dynamo coming to town.
I'm going to sell my tickets, and that's going to pay for my first round tickets.
There you go.
If they host the first round.
Guys,
it's looking good that they will.
Over here. Huh?
Schaefer and I went to the playoff game together last year. The Nashville SC beat
that's
Orlando
right.
City.
I forgot about that.
I've been trying to go with you guys, but
let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Sunday night, though.
I've got a ticket.
Huh?
I've got a ticket.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder.
Sunday when?
7:30.
7:30?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, yep.
Yeah, I know.
There was a show I wanted to go to at City Winery last night, but the main artist who was playing didn't take stage till 8:30.
Yeah, it's tough.
Nope.
You did
not.
Okay.
Because my friend was there and was texting me, hey, this is fun and all that. Yeah, it was already 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's a wrap.
I'm out. It's a wrap.
I missed that moment.
And look, I ain't complaining. I'm just saying that's the life.
I'm trying to give myself like one cheat day of sleep on a weekday where I'm like okay with staying up a little bit later.
Okay.
But I'd been better about sleeping the past 2 days before. So I let myself watch the full game last night, go to a bar, watch it, with a group of friends.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I get it.
Look at you getting your
7:30 kick.
You're adulting now.
Honestly,
man.
about the only time I watch a game late is when I'm over at Ramones. That's about it,
pretty much.
to be honest.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. You can come over anytime, Shay.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Just letting you know. Well, you can too.
Okay.
But you probably think driving to Hendersonville is far, don't you?
No, I don't.
You don't?
So this actually, I'm with people who have this pet peeve that people that live in certain communities think that going to a different community on the other side of town is like going to the other side of the world.
I hate that.
Like growing up in Brentwood, I used to always think Mount Juliet was like the other side of the planet. And then now I live down here and work down here. And it's like, no, it's really not that far away at all. It's actually closer
Here's the thing.
to downtown Nashville than Brentwood.
I've been in Gallatin now for 14 or 15 years. So it's 35 minutes for me to get from the house here to the office, okay? For Ramon, it's probably like 20-ish, something like that. If the trip is going to take me more than an hour one way, I'm probably out.
There's
1 hour is my limit.
There's one trek I do hate, though. I absolutely hate that drive to Murfreesboro.
It is.
It's dull.
From Hendersonville?
No, it's bad.
When Jesus was a boy, there was traffic on I-24 to Murfreesboro between Nashville and Murfreesboro.
Oh my God!
There are a lot of good people I know from Murfreesboro. Many of them work in this building.
I'm learning the back roads to Clarksville. I got that one down pretty well. Going through Springfield is a whole lot better. At least you get the scenic view of it.
Sure.
But hitting 24 and going to Clarksville also.
Yeah.
24 just needs to have a prayer service for it. Pretty much like give it like 2 more lanes, man. And I swear to y'all, it'll grow like crazy there, man.
The problem is that you're in Hendersonville. In Gallatin, you can drop down 109 and go straight down and do it that way.
Okay.
Not as bad because you're actually avoiding 24.
Okay.
Going into Murfreesboro that way. The problem is you're at Hendersonville, so the only way you can really get there unless you're going back rounds is through the city.
Through the city.
Yeah, that's.
And let's speak about this. Baseball tournaments in Murfreesboro when you got the 8 o'clock game from Hendersonville. Dog.
Up and at 'em.
Yeah.
We had a cross country meet every year in Smyrna. over at Sharp Springs in Smyrna that I always have to wait. We'd have to wake up super early to get down there on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Be up, because you got to do like a shakeout run in the mornings before you start a race. Like before you even get on the bus, you got to do a 6 to 8 minute like jog just to shake
Straight
out.
up?
Yeah.
Oh,
like your warm up starts before you get on the bus to even go to
get the nerves up.
Right.
Okay.
Not even that, just as much just like waking your body, like your core nervous system. Yeah, you're right. Like waking your body up a little bit. But that was early. The earliest mornings we had to like go to a competition was we were in like Smyrna and Murfreesboro.
Yeah, I hate those because you got to get there at 7.
We go to the phone lines where you can join us at 615-737-1045. Joey on the phone lines. He's angry at Ramon.
What'd I do?
What's going on, Joey?
What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Mom, come on now. You probably come up Tyree Springs, don't you? And then hit 31 to come across 25 or 76 to hit 49 to go to Clarksville, right?
No,
a lot of numbers.
I know. No, I actually go down Long Hollow, get on 65, and then get off at the what's the name exit, the fireworks exit, and then I drive the Nashville Highway all the way down. Yeah.
Well, he knew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say because if you probably would, and I was gonna say if you're going that way, then I'll give you a pass. But if you was coming up Tyree and then hitting 31 and coming across 25, man, I was fixing to yell at you because I thought we was boys and everything, man.
I wasn't.
I mean, I'm right here. I mean, I'm right there off 25 because I go to Clarksville every day, man. For school and stuff. So I mean, I pretty much know the ways, but I was going to yell at you, man. If you was come down by the house and you wasn't hollering at your boy, man, we was.
That's a red flag. I know that was a red flag. I wouldn't do you like that though, Joe.
Hold him accountable, Joe.
Yeah, please hold me accountable.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah, no, I'm not going that route though. I get on 65 real quick and get off at that that firework exit. You know what it is? It's the Goodlettsville exit.
I do.
It's
not,
the Goodlettsville exit
where
the Tyson food plant is.
I thought you meant the Sad Sam's that's up there in Cross Plains.
No, not that one. It's the one where the Tyson food plant.
I know where
is.
you're at.
Yeah, where
that's
the
further
fireworks
south.
show.
Yeah,
that's where I get my fireworks every year. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I got lost the other day driving to a golf course that I've been to like 20 times.
No, you didn't.
I'm still the guy that has to take directions to go places in a city I've lived in my entire life.
That's cold-blooded.
I know.
You've been an adult for once.
Hey, I will say though, I had a step in knowing I'm more of an adult yesterday. I was actually going to tell you about this earlier.
What you paid your own phone bill?
I made a purchase. I'm just going to keep going. I made a purchase. I went to Office Depot and made a purchase, and I was way too excited about like a $20 purchase at Office Depot.
Yeah, I get it. That's it.
I bought this Bluetooth mouse that doesn't make a loud click because I noticed listening back to some of our interviews that you can hear me, if you listen really, really closely.
Pounding on your mouse and keyboard?
Clicking a mouse to like go through my notes. And this one, I've been clicking it the whole show, haven't heard it once. Makes me so happy. I don't know why I care so much about this, but that's when I knew. I was like, I'm getting a little bit older.
I was about to crap on him, but
I am a professional. You're right. I am a professional.
No. See, you don't
exactly.
Don't brag on yourself too much.
No, I got to take the opportunity.
Pipe down, okay?
I got to take the opportunity. Coming up, I got to dig for you to pipe down. Thank you, Drake. Thank you, Aubrey. 615-737-1045. When we come back, former Titans wide receiver Nate Washington tells us what it's like to play in the Titans and Colts rivalry atmosphere in Lucas Oil Stadium, the atmosphere that Jim Irsay is trying to get way more pumped up than he thinks it actually is. He's doing too much. Plus, we'll talk about Treylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, what he's seen from the Titans wide receivers so far this season, working with Ryan Tannehill. Nate Washington up next. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone.
F the Colts.
The NFL action is in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If that's not enough, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With payouts bigger than ever, why bet on football anywhere else? So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code WGFX to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code WGFX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. And you must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet. Bonus issued as free bets and is one boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms available at DraftKings.com/football terms. And if you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Fourth and final hour of the Friday edition. Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors of 104.5 The Zone. Titans and Colts on Sunday. Going to be a big one. Jim Irsay trying to rally the masses for a blew out.
F the Colts.
And he's trying to get the roof open, I guess.
F
We
the
don't
Colts.
care about no roof.
F the Colts.
Will Bowling, Ramon Foster with you. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen. We go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, where we are joined by former Titan Nate Washington this morning talking about this rivalry. What's going on, Nate? How are you?
What's up, Nate?
Fellas, how y'all doing?
We're good, man. What was it like playing this rivalry game in an open roof in a crazy atmosphere in Lucas Oil Stadium?
Well, let me be honest with you. I love my Titans fan base, and I hope they understand where I'm coming from with all due respect. But it really wasn't a rivalry when I was there.
Right.
We was getting smacked on, man. They had our number, man. Between Reggie, that defense, we got a few wins, don't get me wrong, but the overall synopsis of my 6 years there, where they kind of beat up on us pretty bad. But I'll say this. That's where we wanted our rivalry to be. We understood that the Colts were the pinnacle of our conference, of our division, We understood that in order to be anything successful, that we were going to have to go through that franchise. And that was the team to beat if you were going to be successful. Mm-hmm. We just never made it to that point. We did some good things here and there, occasionally playing them, especially at home. When we got them at home, we did a very good job of playing them and could pull out a couple wins when I was there. I think we beat them maybe like 4 times if I was there at home. But, the overall going to their building, it was hard. It was very, very hard. Between making plays, in all honesty, some coaching errors, just things that just held us back from being successful and actually making it a real rivalry that you can look at now with the current state and give that current Titans team the respect to say, well, they've come around to make this a real rivalry and competitive and back and forth now with the wins and the losses of the Colts from the Colts. It wasn't the same back when I was playing as it is now, but definitely was one of our top rivals that we had to make sure that we knew in order to be successful, we had to be competitive against.
Nate, I appreciate you being honest about that, though, like straight up, because that's what rivalries are. And you got to admit, like, who are you playing against? Like Peyton?
Right. Well, no, I got, I think, 2 years against Peyton, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest were just against Guy. Oh, well, Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, man. Andrew Luck was, that guy. So it just was hard for us to beat those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But now on the other side of it, though, like the thing that I've recognized while covering the Titans is there's a hate for them. And you got to appreciate it because, as you said, the best way to get to the playoffs is winning your division, man. Just speak on how it looks now being on the other side of it and what that means to make it to the playoffs through them.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this, especially now being a fan, I definitely understand that where the rivalry lies. And I definitely, I'll text Gerard Powers. I go back and forth with Darius Butler online. Me and Reggie Wayne even talk smack sometimes about this game because it's become a bigger rivalry in my retirement than it was when I'm my playing years. Like, this is the pinnacle of our division. The Titans versus the Colts are whoever comes out of that game successful is, in the last couple of years is going to win that division. So obviously there's huge hate from the other side, respectful hate, sports hate, but it's hate. We don't want them to be successful. I as much as I pray for guys not to get injury, not to have injuries or anything like that. I hate seeing their guys come back from injury playing in our game. Like, I want them all to be out. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it goes. That's how it goes when you become successful, you become competitive, and this Titans organization has definitely put some things together with the ability to go to the playoffs these last years that has probably heightened that rivalry with the Colts a little more, not only for themselves but for the fan base. Because, like I said, in order to win this division, you're going to have to go through one or the other. You're going to have to go through the Colts or you're going to have to go through the Titans.
Former Titans wide receiver Nate Washington with us here this morning on Ramon and Will. Nate, against Las Vegas, what was the biggest difference in your eyes in the Titans offense in the first half and the success they had to the lack of success they had in the second half?
Well, I think the first half, they did a good job of spreading the ball around.
I think the run game had got going for a period of time downhill. I think they just were consistent in that first half in operation. Even from the blocking scheme, they were getting a hat on the hat, and a lot of those things were going well. But, I mean, when you go inside, you're going to have to make adjustments predicated on what you were doing successful that first half. And I just don't think the team came out as consistent strategically in that second half to do and put the plays on the field that were going to keep the Vegas Raiders away from the score. You know, I think that second half they kind of struggled, you know, moving the ball around. And as I stated, you know, that run game in itself, you know, I think Derrick Henry is obviously top 2 backs in this league. And there's going to be a lot of teams. When you talk about game planning and understanding how to stop the Titans, Derrick Henry is going to be your number 1 name. I can guarantee you that every defense that faces him, every defensive coordinator loses sleep over him because they understand you cannot allow him to be the basis of this offense. Our pass game is predicated off of his run game. Everything that we are able to accomplish is predicated off of the run game. And I just think coming in that second half, you know, when you're relying on his big body to punish the other team in the late third quarter and the fourth quarter, you kind of have to set him up for those things. And I would love to see a little more stretch zone runs from this offense in order to get him, you know, moving side to side and downhill with angles. Allow this offense, this young offensive line now, to get these guys on the angle, get them pushing, you know, to the side, because it's hard. As Ramon knows, it's hard, you know, when your run game is just downhill for a full 60 minutes. It's hard pushing forward, but it's a lot easier getting those guys moving towards the sideline, giving that back ability to cut back or find a lane or ride the wave all the way to the sideline with the zone stretch. So I think it's just some things that they could have did to make adjustments in the second half, but it's also a learning experience. This is a team that's still growing. This is a team that's still finding playmakers in the pass game. This is a team still finding young defensive backs to make plays. I think Christian did a good job of coming back in and establishing what things should look like from a veteran cornerback. But, you know, there's still a lot of things that are coming together for this team. So second half is going to have to be a game study for them. It's going to have to be a game study of consistency. How do they stay consistent from the first half to the second?
Nate, I'm going to lean on your expertise at this next question, man, because you're a skill guy. And whether you're a cornerback or wide receiver, I think most of you guys at those positions have to have a play. That's where I'm at right now with Caleb Farley, man. I've seen yours, like, you didn't get your first career catch till later in your rookie year, right? So from that point on, I'm sure you was like, okay, I can play in this league. What is it going to take for Caleb to have that play to where he's comfortable being a pro?
Man, you know, oh man, it's, as you know, Ramon, it's so many things that could help aid that situation, from coaching staff, you know, coaching him harder or being more lenient in how they're coaching him. I don't know how they're coaching him. Let me put that out there. I just wanted to say that that's some of the things that could aid him. 2 guys in the locker room, these veteran guys that are in his room, from Kevin Byard, encouraging him and all those things. But as you know, man, at the end of the day, you're going to have to be able, especially, there's 2 positions on the field that I am firm believer of, that you have to have thick skin and amazing confidence. And that's quarterback and cornerback. And that the reason why is because you're going to experience failure at those 2 positions. You're going to experience, as a quarterback, you're going to experience throwing interceptions. You're going to experience missing reads. As a quarterback, you're going to give up big plays. You're going to give up first downs. You have to have the attitude and the mental capacity to say right back the next play, you know what, forget it. I'm moving on. I'm still that guy. I'm still high in belief in myself. This game is mine. I can still play at an elite level. Because at the very moment you question yourself mentally, it's going to reflect in your game. And outside looking in, as you said, from a skilled position, playing a skilled position, I just don't see confidence in Caleb. Wow. I don't see a guy confident. I see a guy going out every single play that's thinking, okay, what's my job on this specific call? What am I supposed to do? Let me try to do my job. Let me stay inside. Let me, stay over top of my – I don't see a guy that's going up saying, I'm about to make a play. I'm about to shut this guy down. I'm about to break up this pass. I'm about to get it. I don't see that confidence. And until he starts to regain that confidence and telling himself, no matter what the outcome of the play is, to move forward to the next play and still play at a high level, it's going to continue to affect him. I see the technique. I can see the backpedaling. I can see the getting out of his break. But until he gets over this mental capacity of finding his confidence, his swag, it's not going to be anything for him. And in all honesty, a first-round draft pick, your confidence should have already been there. That is part of the reason why they draft you first round, because they see confidence in you. They see swagger. They see attitude. They see, personality. All those things include you being a first-round draft pick, not just the talent that you have, not just running a 4.340, not just benching 225 25 times, not just having 15 to 20 interceptions in your collegiate career. That plays into it, but they draft you first round because they see swagger in you. And until he realizes that and steps on that field with that swagger, he's going to continue to be affected by downplay.
Nate, it's like you took my thunder.
Preaching.
That's where I was going. Because you were undrafted. I was undrafted. Like the uncertainty that comes with that, you got to build it. They drafted this guy as a first-round draft pick, injured, had switched positions. Imagine where would Nate Washington be if he were drafted as a first-round draft pick like he was?
Oh, my Lord. I'll be sitting right next to J-Mac on Good Morning America, man. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Man, that's serious, man, though, Ron. Like you said, it's different opportunities for guys like us, that don't come in that first round. But the doors that open for those guys that are first rounders, they transition after football a lot better than we do because they have bigger opportunities. So it's just he's really going to have to understand that this, as much as, people may hear me say this, that this league just ain't all about physical talent.
Right.
It's about attitude and swag too. A lot of guys make it in this league strictly off of feeling like they belong. They walk the walk, talk the talk, and they fit in. They may not be the best talented guy, but they're going to come out on that field with the attitude that they're going to compete and nobody's going to be better than them. And in that alone, they become successful. Caleb's definitely going to have to find that one.
He got to be arrogant, and that's okay too when you're competing. Off the field, flip that switch off, go be a dude. Okay, I just needed to hear you being a small skill guy, man. Just drop that nugget off real quick, Nate.
Definitely, no doubt.
I love it. On the other side of things, from one first-round pick to another, Nate, Treylon Burks has shown a little bit of improvement over the first couple of weeks. A bigger focal point for the offense in Buffalo, certainly, than he was over the weekend against Las Vegas. Are you ready to see him take that next step and become more of a prominent target within this offense?
Well, I have to agree with you first and foremost. I've seen some, improvement from him. I've seen some ability to make some plays, run after the catch, run after the handoff, even the jet sweeps that he's been getting, he's been giving them some yardage. And I think, this is – we all acknowledged that he wouldn't be A.J. Brown. He acknowledged this, we acknowledged this. And I think at this point we're just going to have to be, content with his progression as himself, as Treylon Burks. We're going to have to be content with that progression because at this point, we can desire more activity of him within this offense, but he's still not going to be ready for an A.J. Brown position. And in that, I still, as much as I think that, he should be more involved, I honestly think we should lean more on Robert Woods in this time in the passing game. I think Robert has the veteran mentality to help out this play action pass game. He understands how to get open. And for this, at least first quarter to first half of the season, in order to get this offense rolling, this team rolling like it should, you're going to have to lean on a guy that knows what he's doing, knows where he's supposed to be, and let those other guys feed off of him and become better. I think Traylon has, like I said, done some great things here in these past couple games. But where this offense needs to be, the consistency and the reliability, what they're looking for right now, I think they're going to have to actively increase Robert Woods' role more rather than Traylon. I know Traylon is the novelty. He's the first-round pick. Missing A.J. Brown, you want him to be the big guy that comes in and fills that void. But right now, as far as this team marching up and down the field, being successful in the red zone, I think Robert Woods is your guy.
Nate, on around this division real quick, you say you was talking to David Gerard, right? Him? How's he really feeling about these Jaguars, man? Because I'm a little confused that I'm actually picking them as one of my top 5 games of the weekend against Philly.
Jesus, man. You know what, man? I've been telling my friends, I'm ashamed to say it, but the Jags are nice. They're nice. They haven't been this good since I played for the Steelers back in the day with MJ. MJD was good, but I'm talking about even Fred days. You know what I'm saying? Fred days when Fred and Leftwich was there. Like, I haven't seen this team as good since then. And as you stated, man, like, they have to be acknowledged as a true threat in the AFC South right now.
Yeah.
Lawrence is playing consistent. You know, Doug Peterson is obviously – he's low-key becoming the quarterback guru. You know, every quarterback that he gets his hands on, he's making successful. He's putting them in a good position to be successful on these football teams. And actually, we've also seen that defense over there grow. That defense is flying around. Allen is playing like a madman on fire. He's actually reminding me a lot of when the Leonard kid from the Colts first came in and was creating havoc. Yes, when Darius Leonard came in and was creating havoc in the middle of the field, that's who Allen is. Josh Allen is in Jacksonville right now. He's doing an amazing job of carrying that defense's energy. I think we all were kind of looking cross-eyed when the deal was first done, but Christian Kirk is showing that he's well worth the money. And, you know, this team in itself is still finding ways to gel and become better. They're going to find better ways to even be better in their run game. They're going to find ways to better use Travis Etienne. He has talent. With that being said, this team is dangerous, man. And as you stated, you know, picking them as a favorite now is becoming a consistent thing. Like, I don't think they've been picked as favorites for quite some time, but it's definitely well-deserved. They put the product together. Doug Peterson has done a good job of overall, you know, coaching and putting them in good position. And I agree with you, man. They got the Eagles this weekend, right, Mo?
Yeah.
It might be trouble, man. I agree with you. I think this is one game that the Eagles may drop because the Jaguars may give them hell. So I agree with you, man. This team is – and that organization in itself is becoming better, and they're definitely becoming a threat in the AFC South.
I mean, their head coach isn't kicking in Ohio getting knee dances.
Their new head coach has a bronze statue outside the stadium they're about to go back to in Philadelphia.
Like, Will elaborated on that. Like, this is a big game for Doug Peterson and the Jags, too. He's a legend there, like literally a legend there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely has legacy around that place. And I'm pretty sure in a lot of ways this may be a revenge game from him as well.
Yup, 100%.
No doubt about it. Great stuff with former Titans wide receiver Nate Washington here with us on Ramon and Will. Check out the podcast if you missed any of this conversation. Nate, really, really awesome stuff. Really appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
No doubt, fellas. I appreciate y'all having me as always, man. It's dope.
Appreciate it, Nate.
Yes, sir. There
Uncle
is Nate Washington with us on the phone lines this morning talking Titans and Colts. He is right in saying, Ramon, that this rivalry has changed quite a bit since his 6 years playing in it.
You know what my PTSD said to me?
Yeah.
Vols in Florida.
You know that in 2016, the Vols broke an 11-game losing streak to Florida the same year the Titans broke an 11-game losing streak to the Colts.
That's what it said.
Happened in like back-to-back weeks.
Crazy.
Notice he didn't mention Colts legend Curtis Painter.
Or Jacoby Brissett, who was the quarterback when that win streak broke.
Yep. There we go.
In 2016.
I mean, he said it was just a bunch of Jags, man.
It's very similar. Coming up, keys to the game for a Titans win on Sunday. A little Macho Man Todd Titan to get you energized for your weekend. Going to be a fun weekend. We're going to preview it one final time with you. One final segment coming up next. It's Ramona Will, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Tighten up.
Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits is locally owned and has served Brentwood for over 17 years. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits has a unique selection of wine and spirits with a vast selection of local craft and hard-to-find brands that the big stores don't or won't carry. Still warm outside. Fall is here, but tequila, the cocktail of choice right now. Go in, check out their vast selection of tequila that will make your next moment to relax way more enjoyable. If you're looking for the perfect gift for a housewarming, birthday, or maybe it's just a thank you, Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits has customized baskets for you to grab and go with wine, spirits, local olives, and chocolates. It's the perfect gift for that cocktail lover in your life. It's a convenient location, Williamson County, right off of Old Hickory Boulevard in Brentwood, 101 Creekside Crossing in Brentwood, right by the Publix. Stop by. Every Wednesday is Senior Day. Come in for special discounts. Every day they honor the military discount as well, case discounts every day as well. Find them online at www.marylandfarmsws.com and stay tuned for the tailgate tip of the week coming soon right here on the show every single Friday as they give you a cocktail for your tailgate this football season. Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits, locally owned and serving Brentwood for over 17 years. One final segment of Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. This is the energy we're bringing all weekend, right here, Ramon Foster. Will Bowling with you, Jonathan Schaefer, our producer. A little bit of 3-6 Mafia on the way out. Buck Rising is up next. He's got lots of that coming up for you. He's got Coach Rick Venturi of the Colts Radio Network, Coach Mac, Channel 4's Nicky Latarullo on his show coming up next.
So
hang out
crazy
with him
on the camera when this song comes on.
Oh, you'd be ready to go.
Yeah, that song.
You wouldn't need somebody to slap you like John Henderson did when this song came on in the locker room. You'd be. What did you listen to before games?
I got a playlist. I might put it out there one day. Well,
Really?
a bunch of hip hop. Just I had some Lil Jon, Eastside Boy, some Jeezy, some Jay-Z.
Anyone I've heard of? Okay, Jay-Z. There you go.
I swear, Will. Sometimes, boy.
I'm kidding.
Shafe, where's my you?
No, don't get the bucket in the table.
End of the hall.
Easy.
To the right.
I was kidding.
It's Friday, Will. Act like it, man.
I listened to. Yep. Before every race I ever had, I listened to J. Cole and Drake were my two.
My go-to song, though?
Yeah.
400 Degrees by Juvenile or March Madness by Future.
Oh, March
Dress
Madness.
It up and make it real
You know,
fun.
that is my alarm starting March 1st for the entire month of March.
Get out.
Like, has been since college.
I respect it. I
So
respect it. Yeah, those two.
Yep.
That 400 Degrees by Juvenile.
I'll tell you what I did. You're going to laugh at me when I say this.
And talk rap.
You laugh at me when I say most things. But,
yeah, I do. But it's all good.
the song I listened to before track meets was Magic by B.O.B. Because the line,
Magic.
every
Okay.
time I touch that track, it turns into gold.
That's
why I listen to it.
He's off the map right now,
Yep.
man.
No, he has. We haven't heard from him in a hot minute.
He's a great musical genius.
all
Sometimes
right.
those dudes are like that, man. It's crazy.
Our keys to the game today for the Tennessee Titans, Ramon Foster.
I started where I started earlier this week when you asked me the Titans win if it goes like this. Keep Jonathan Taylor under 60 yards.
So that's key number one, brought to you by your Middle
Yeah.
Tennessee Toyota dealers and our Toyota keys to the game. That's a pretty straightforward one.
Yeah, I keep Jonathan Taylor under 60 yards, man, for a lot of different reasons, man. That gives Matt Ryan a lot of confidence if they can control the game on the ground. You heard Mike Keith say it earlier, too. We're not just saying these things just to say them. Like, if Jonathan Taylor gets hot, Matt Ryan gets confident also. So stop that. You stop him.
For me, my key to the game is exactly what Mike Keith said with us earlier on in the show. Be better on first down on both offense and defense. Indianapolis has struggled on first down as an offense. When they played Jacksonville, they were 0 of 7 on 3rd and 6 plus. Put them in those situations and take Jonathan Taylor's legs out of the football game as much as you can, because they're still going to give it to him even on 3rd down and 5 and 3rd down and 6 at times. Got to be better against the run in this game. Coach Mack said it yesterday. There are no magic plays in this league. Win one-on-one. I think that starts on first down on both sides of the ball for the Titans.
100%. I'm with you on that one. My second pair of keys starts at the OL for the Titans. Control it. I think you may have shocked people last week with Taylor being out. This time, don't let it be a shock. Control that defensive front, which is a good defensive front. We can't act like they don't have a good front. They're really good against the run. And make that an emphasis from here on out. It's y'all 5 now.
Yep.
Be a group. Control the line of scrimmage. Keep Ryan Tannehill safe.
And I think the other one for me is winning one-on-one against Indianapolis at the wide receiver position.
Ooh.
You got beat by a number 2 receiver last week in Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
Don't let Alec Pierce beat you in this football game. Don't let Ashton Doolin beat you in this game. Jelani Woods, the second tight end, him and Mo Alley Cox, big physical tight ends that you're going to have a little bit more trouble stopping if you don't have Amani Hooker in this defense who continues to miss practice with a concussion. Those are the keys for me.
Yeah.
Brought to you by your Middle Tennessee Toyota dealers here on the way out. Well, Ramon, another fun week in the books.
Yeah.
We are back at it again, 6 a.m. Monday morning, recapping the Titans and Colts, recapping a wild college football weekend, starting prep for the LSU Tigers, of whom the Tennessee Volunteers will see next weekend. But we are all Titans and Colts, and we are all ears.
Uh-oh.
You know the music. It is Macho Man Todd Titan sending us out into our weekend. Take it away, Todd.
Oh, yeah! Rivalry City, that's right, yeah. Sunday Lucas Oil Stadium, man. I hear every single year the media proclaiming the Indianapolis Colts are the greatest team in the AFC South, but every year we're right on top. I hear Jonathan Taylor's the greatest running back in the AFC South, but the King still has the crown. They're bringing in Matt Ryan. He's the savior this year. But you're going to meet Big Jeff on Sunday, and he's going to send you back to the old folks home, Matt Ryan. Get your AARP card ready, because on Sunday we're going to prove without a shadow of a doubt one more time that we are the kings of the AFC South. Who run it? We run it. It's time to tighten up. Big